Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Tiny terror in the tree line cuts. He'll drop from a power line, show you what's riding his hip. Thumb stud flipper, front flick spine. He lives for that perfect click. Spreading word to the backyard crew. Check this edge, feel that grind. Every acorn, every review, card with a steel tooth mine. Whoa. He's the EDC Squirrel, stashing the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the curb to the cul-de-sac rut, sharpen your wits end. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Tiny terror in the tree line cuts. Climb high, tree line thrown in the storm. Cold bite, metal heart staying warm. If you mess with a scribe or his heart, you'll hear one battle cry roar. From the brush, protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. He's the EDC Squirrel, stashing the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the mail call crate to the gutter front rut, sharpen your wits end. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Little legend with the pocket cut guts.
Okay. Is this working? Oh, God. I've been having so many problems. Actually, I think last week went pretty well. But I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it continues because it's been really weird with the camera since my phone was, since I upgraded my phone and everything. But things appear to be working smoothly now. At least last week they did, which was kind of a surprise. I know there was a phone update, so maybe that had something to do with it. Hey, I'm Morgan. How you doing? So I think we're good. Hopefully. All right, cool. So it is Saturday, the 25th of July. Wow, I could remember what month it was. And we're back for another Saturday chat. We're going to be doing some customizations or a customization of a case knife. And I finally got some new knives that came in. And I know I've been slow on that because fundage and all that fun stuff. I'm trying to kind of rein in some things because of some uncertainties going on in my world right now. So things have slowed down a little bit. I've got another video I'm working on the way. I actually shot the video and just got to do some quick editing, but hopefully I'll be back in doing a few more videos throughout the week. It's just going to be slow. I don't intend on letting this channel die because I enjoy doing this. This is a fun, I guess it's taken a good portion of my knife hobby. So, or become a good portion of my knife hobby. So hopefully I can keep this running. If at the very least it's going to be a little slow, but it'll continue. That's the plan anyway. I am trying to fill a torch, which I've been doing earlier. That's just slow going. I don't know why it's taking so long to fill this torch. I don't know why this torch seems to be emptying. That's not good. Hang on a second. It's always trying to prepare shit for the show. I'm always running like super late. I could swear this is actually getting less fluid in there. which is really, really strange. Should be getting more fluid, not less. Hang on a second. That should not be happening. Don't tell me there's something wrong with my torch. Am I emptying my torch? Oh my God, I think I'm emptying my torch. Give me just a minute, be right back. Let's see if I gotta fix this. Okay, I think that's better. I think it's because I think the can I had emptied out. All right, so that's done. Sorry about that. Okay, so who's in here? Hey, KKM. Or K Kim. Good God, I can't read. My eyes are goofy. Welcome to the stream. And you're watching the new Mortal Kombat. I liked it. I watched it. I had fun with it. I mean, I don't know if it's going to win any like awards or anything. I mean, but I enjoyed it because I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat, so had a blast with that one. One of your favorite characters is Morrigan from Darkstalkers. It was probably the fuel burning mice. I think that emptied out and I hadn't realized it because it felt like there was still some in there, and every time I pressed it to the torch, I think it was actively emptying my torch as opposed to filling it with anything. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, now that we got things running and camera's looking good. Camera looks freaking great. My hands look worse. Jeff, how you doing? You're probably got to watch this later, working today and mowing your grass off. Well, don't do it completely off. But thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. The first thing I'm going to do is, as always, well, not always, I've been trying to do this in the beginning. Let me know what you guys had in your pocket today, what your daily carry was. Mine, I put it back in the case, so I had to go figure out where the hell I shoved it. There it is. My daily carry today was my Vosteed Porcupine TI Slim. Love this knife. Fantastic freaking knife. And I also had my, oh God, what was the name of this thing? Rosecraft. Good grief. Rosecraft. I can't remember the particular name of this one, which bugs me because they have like Snake Creek, Liver Creek, whatever creek. It's a Warncliffe blade, slip joint. If you want to know what model this is, it's a Blue Bone and Rosecraft there. And there's the model number if you can make it out. There we go. If you guys can get 14C28N steel. RC, what is this? RCT 035 VBB. Something. But that's what was in my pocket today. That was my carry. And in one of the leather slips that I got from Chasing Blades. Let me know what's in your wallet. Let me know what's in your pocket in the chat. And then we are going to move on with some new stuff that I got this last week. Like I said, it's been a little slow, but I did get some new stuff. I did manage to get some new stuff this week. And as opposed to how I normally start with showcasing some traditional knives. And then I move to the modern knives. We're going to go backwards. I'm going to start off with a modern knife that I got. And then we'll move on to the traditionals. No pockets. Though you have your Taurus 22 is in your purse. If anybody recalled, my daily carry is a Walther PPQ in 40. Either that or a Smith & Wesson Shield also in 40. Those are my daily carries. Normally the Smith & Wesson Shield during the summer when I'm wearing like shorts and stuff like that. During the winter I'm carrying my Walther PPQ. Main carry for you was a Cutlery Shop exclusive Spyderco Military Cutlery Shop exclusive. It has orange G10 scales and DLC'd XHP steel and hardware. Now I got to look. Anytime somebody mentions something I have not seen before in terms of knives, I've got to look. Cutlery shop exclusive Spyderco Day 2. Ooh. Pretty. Pricey. Pretty pricey. Pretty and pricey. That's pretty sweet looking. I was never big on orange, and then I've got a few orange knives, and I started. It's grown on me. It seriously has grown on me. Like the Tequila Sunrise from Case, some persimmons and stuff like that. It's really that's a full size knife. Orange has started to grow on me, although I still don't see too many orange knives. So that looks nice. Awesome. If you're not in the Discord, there's a link. There should be a link below for the Discord. Go check out the Discord, and you can post pics in there. And I love to share pictures. And I just realized I didn't have my light on. There we go. That make things a little better. Okay. So again, for those coming in, share what you've got in your pocket. Now, for what I've got new this week, before we move into the customizations, this is the only technically modern knife that I got this week, and this is actually from Monthly Knife Club. I did do a video. I did upload a video on this one. This is from SRM Knives and Tools, and it's actually, I just realized it's a similar model to one that I have before, if not the same technical model, because it's got a similar model name. The 255, what was it? 255L or something. I had the card in front of me, and then I just moved the card like an idiot. And now I don't know where I put the card, because that was the smartest thing to do in the world. It's a 255L, I believe, MG2, I think. Yeah, because what the hell did I do with that card? Anyway, oh well, close enough. The difference on this one compared to what I had before, I don't know if they're the same as the metal. They're very similar in shape to the SRM metals. This is a green micarta scale. We got crossbar lock. You got reversible pocket clip. One thing I like about these reversible pocket clips from SRM, you don't have to unscrew anything if you want to move it to left-hand carry. The way they work is you can give it a pinch. It unlocks the pocket clip, and you can just slide it out and then move it over to the other side if you're left-handed. And then it just snaps in, and you're good to go. And it's a nice, solid connection there. Oh, no problem, KChem. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again real quick. Now, this particular model, while I have had some SRMs before, this one's a new steel for me. This one comes in 140 CR steel. And this one it's a jacketed steel or laminated steel. I think there's an actual difference between jacketed and laminated. But you have a harder core steel laminated between a softer, more tougher steel, and it creates a really cool division on the edge of the blade, as you can see there, kind of like similar to a Hammond line on a katana. But that's where you have the harder steel to maintain its edge, give it a good long or good edge. God, I'm losing my terms today. Edge retention. That's the word I was looking for. So it's good edge retention. And it just looks absolutely beautiful with that little division in there. There's the other side. No two blades obviously are going to look the same. And just really, really cool. Oh, there's the model number. 25. I was right. Can you focus? 255L MG2 by SRM. And again, like a crossbar lock, or it is a crossbar lock, so very easy to use. Dual thumb studs, very similar shape to SRM seems to be liking this scale shape or this handle shape, because I've had a few knives from SRM that have, if not the same size, they're very similar in shape, but they feel really good in the hand and just a really cool looking blade. My first 140 CR blade in my collection. And from what I understand, it's supposed to perform just as well as S35 VN steel, but at a much lower cost. So where a lot of S35 VNs tend to run upwards of around $100 to over $100, this one I got from Monthly Knife Club. I pay, was it 55 plus shipping and handling? Usually comes to around like 60 and a couple bucks. And these knives would run, depending on the scale material, would run anywhere from 60, I believe it was like 69 to like maybe $85. So not bad. Hey, friggin' llama, how you doing? Here to share and love, share the love and the thumbs up. Thank you so much for the like. Really appreciate it. So that's the new modern knife that I got today. This was the SRM 255L MG2. Really cool knife from a Monthly Knife Club. They're pretty damn awesome. I like the Monthly Knife Club so far because it's been a great surprise with a lot of the knives that I've been getting. I think I've only gotten, this would probably be like the third knife I've been with them for, getting close to a year now, I believe. And this is maybe the second or third knife that I had that was similar to something that I've already had. I think I have only had one knife where I had the exact same model, just different color. This is kind of like the exact same model, but different blade steel, different scales. So still pretty damn cool, and I like it. So definitely going to keep it going as long as I can with Monthly Knife Club. Go check them out. They have different tiers of monthly packages where you can get different knives, or you can even get whole packages where you get the knife or get a knife or even a couple knives and a whole bunch of other EDC gear, everyday carry gear. So go check them out. That was from them. Pretty damn sweet knife to add to the collection. Now, I already did a video of this. This one's already out. So if you want to check out this knife in more detail, go check out my video on it. It's the last video that I've created this week. So pretty easy to find. You know what? I'm going to leave this out. I keep putting them back in the boxes, and I should leave them out in case anybody gets curious as to what I've gotten. So that from Monthly Knife Club. Now, we're going to move on to the traditional knives. And we're going to start off with case. I've got a couple case knives, and these come from Chasing Blades. You probably heard that name mentioned a lot here. Chasing Blades is a couple of brothers. They sell knives on Whatnot, and I do a lot of business with them. Great guys, Mike and Gary. Get a lot of case knives and other knives from them. And we got today, what did I get today? This week. Oh, this is a color that's new for this year that Case has been doing, 2026. And it's called mahogany. It's called their mahogany bone. And ever since this one came out, or this type of bone has come out, it's just been extremely popular, especially with me. I just love the look. It's a very classy looking knife, in my opinion. The mahogany bone, kind of like touches of red, dark streaks in there. This one's nicely toasted. This is a trapper. We got fluted bolsters on this one, a regular size trapper, California clip point for your master or main blade, and you can see they have it etched, pocket worn, 30th anniversary mahogany bone from 1996 to 2026. This looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the bone on the mahoganies. You got the arrowhead badge on there. And then secondary is a spay blade, as you can see. What steel was that SRM knife? The SRM knife, this is called 140 CR steel. It is a laminated steel. where you have a harder, a much harder steel core and a softer steel laminated around it. So it's kind of like a steel sandwich, like a sanmai, if you're familiar with a sanmai style or sanmai blade. So it's not differentially heat treated like a katana. It's actually two steels laminated together, and that's where you get that little division line on the edge. But really cool steel. Supposed to be equivalent to S35 VN, which is kind of like, it's a premium steel. It's kind of like, I've heard a lot of people say it's like where premium steels sort of begin. So you have inexpensive budget steels, and then you have premium steels, which are higher end, and it kind of starts with S35 VN, goes up, and kind of goes up from there. And that's supposed to be the equivalent of that steel, just at a much lower cost. Now, this, like I was saying, this is the mahogany trapper. I mean, not much to say other than it being a trapper and just absolutely gorgeous mahogany bone with the arrowhead badge there, like I said, and the fluted bolsters. That's where that little line is there. It's the fluted bolsters. Make it a little more expensive, but not bad. Still can be had for like around, I believe around $100. I paid a little less, and I just fell in love with this mahogany bone. I think they look really, really classy. This, the antique bone, chestnut bone, kind of, I feel they're like, they're like classy looking knives. I don't know how else to explain it. Like not flashy, not overly colorful or anything like that. Some people like that. I like those too, but like this is something that I'd pair with like a, if I'm dressing up for work. I'd carry something like this or one of the antique or chestnut bones. But that is what was the full name on this one? Number 55230, pocket worn mahogany bone corncob jig trapper fluted. Yeah, Case still gets the prize for freaking longest knife names ever. But I think their names are just pretty much their descriptions, all one and the same. You had a matched pair of Case knives from '96, which you still have. Oh, no way! I'd send it. Oh. Oh, if you wanted to trade candy for some knives, I'd be happy to trade. I don't know if I have any left. The candy that I have left has been hoarded by my girlfriend. So, good luck trying to get that away from her. Coffee. Just mentioned my girlfriend. My girlfriend's online name is Coffee, and I just drank a swig. Let's see here. Oh no, don't want to trade. But if you were open to trading, if you had some matched pair of Case knives from '96, what happened to them? You still don't have? You don't have them any longer? That sucks. Did you sell them? Did you trade them? Did you just lose them? Will do, friggin' llama. Will do. The next knife I have, this one's also from Chasing Blades. This is another Case knife. This one's a special one. This is a collector's knife. This is one of those that not too many people would probably end up using, but would keep on display. And this comes in a nice case. I have a few Case knives that come in a nice case similar to this. This one is called, oh God, here come the names again. This one's a number 60585. Sportsman Natural Bone Smooth Color Wash Trapper with Jewel Box. We're going to take a look at that right now. Oh, vicious. I'm sorry. Oh, that can't be fun. I feel for you, man. Seriously, the amount of stuff I lost in my divorce. Okay, here we go. This comes in a nice, I don't know what I don't think this is actual leather. I mean, it could be. I have no idea. I'm going to guess it's like a pleather or something, but it's nice. Really large jewelry case box. Wild Game Series. W.R. Case & Sons Cutlery Company Wild Game Series. This one comes in a nice little display. You got your typical case paperwork, and you have as well a certificate of authenticity. Item number 60585. What does this say here? This document certifies that this knife was manufactured by W.R. Case & Sons Cutlery Company in Bradford, PA. Case knives have been crafted by skilled artisans for generations with quality, attention to detail, and pride. This knife continues in that fine tradition, offering further testimony to the art of knife making shared by Case artisans. Number 60585, 2026 Wild Game Series gift set trapper pattern. So same size as the mahogany bone that I showed earlier. It's going to be a smooth, natural bone, true sharp stainless steel. And it comes with a color wash, black definition, because they colored the bone, long tail C serialization. So these are serialized, and a medallion as well. So this is the knife we're talking about. I'm going to leave it in there for now. There's the medallion. Genuine Case collectible, and this is the Wild Game series. As you can see, we've got a turkey there, color wash turkey. I'd like to say pheasant, and we've got deer and elk. Actually, I'll go ahead and take this out. The other side is a smooth bone. Now, these are like, I guess you could call it etched, as each of these animals are actually raised off the background. You can feel that on the fingers. And on the other side, a smooth, kind of like gray bone, but just a really, really beautiful knife. I've been wanting one of these for a while now, and I finally got my hands on one from Chasing Blades. Now, this one's got a hell of a sharp blade on it. I remember taking that out. That actually cut some of that felt lining. But really awesome knife from Case. These run generally around, I'd like to say close to $200 for these, I think, retail, but I can't recall. I didn't pay anywhere near this much. But if you want to look it up, like I said, the number on this one was, where did I put the cover box? I had that. I keep putting something down, and I forget where I put it. Because I had that box in hand. Oh, there it is. This one, again, is number 60585. The Sportsman Natural Bone Smooth Color Wash Trapper. So if you want to look up the cost on that, actually, let me look it up. I know I didn't pay what they have on here, but it'll give you an idea. Case 60585. Wild Game Series. Take a look at the first links. Deadwood knives. I've ordered stuff from them before. Deadwood has them going for about $162. So, and in stock. If you go to Deadwood, Chasing Blades probably could match that at the very least. And I'm sure other retailers as well are probably going to be around that ballpark area. So I just can't. I know I paid less. In fact, yeah, I did pay less. I don't want to say how much I paid, because that's a steal. No, I paid a lot less from Chasing Blades. So go check them out on Whatnot. I think I have a link to Whatnot below. If you visit Chasing Blades, just tell them I sent you, and that would be awesome. So we're going to leave that in that case. Case and case and case. Put that off to the side. Really, so I don't lose this box, I'm going to put that sleeve back on so I don't have to worry about it. Okay. So those were some new knives from Chasing Blades, from Monthly Knife Club. I got two more knives to show you guys, and these two knives I held off because this has me super excited. It's my first knives from this particular manufacturer, and yes, I say knives because I've got two of them. I've been wanting one of their knives at least for a while now, ever since they came out. But they tend to be really, really expensive, and especially the one that I've had my eye on, which was a collaboration between them and Melissa Backwoods. And the knife the manufacturer I'm talking about is Jack Wolf Knives. Now, their knives, I think the lowest end knife I've seen them run was like roughly about $150, and then they move on up really quick after that. I think average price I've seen is roughly around 300. A lot of times they'll be like 350. I think the one that they did with the collaboration of Melissa Backwoods, I think those were initially like around 350, I believe. I could be wrong, but once they started going for sale and on auction, they were going for some crazy, crazy prices. Not to mention the fact that they're limited and there's no chance of me ever being able to grab one anymore. But Jack Wolf does do these things every now and then called gateway knives. And it's where they create a batch of knives or a series of knives using more budget-minded materials, so that way you have a chance at getting a Jack Wolf knife without the insane price for one of their premiums. And they still come with the same quality, still come with the same great looks and everything. And their most recent drop was the Gateway. Now, these are called Gateway. I got two. I got a Kieranite Root Beer Stockman and a Camo Carbon Watermelon Sugar Stockman. So it's a Gateway Stockman is the model that he recently released, and they have he has some really cool boxes as well. I think the graphics on Jack Wolf knives look freaking awesome. But these are gateway knives because I think they call them gateway knives because they're a lot less expensive, and while they use more budget-minded materials, they are in no way. I don't think they're like lesser knives. I think they're fantastic knives because I did have a chance to look at these. In fact, I did shoot a video with these. I just haven't edited it yet. So we're going to take a look. And this one is the Root Beer Kieranite, and they have more models. And believe me, I would have loved to get the other models if I could. These gateway knives range around, I believe they were like 65 for some models, all the way up to about 85 or 90, if I recall correctly. The Kieranite one was kind of somewhere in the middle of that. And Kieranite is the material used for the scale. This is, again, the Gateway Stockman in Root Beer Kieranite. It is a single blade Stockman. If you've ever seen a case knife, a Stockman case knife, they typically come with 3 blades. This is a single bladed one in a Stockman shape. Now, a pretty sizable Stockman shape. This one, I believe, is just over a 3-inch blade. Nice half stop on this. Got a clip point blade. Jack Wolf on one side and 14C 28N steel. Brushed stainless steel bolsters. Nice swirly Kieranite scales on this one. I forgot what they call this shield. They had a particular name for the shield, but I can't remember what it's called. It looks like a chess piece. I know it's not called a chess piece, but they look absolutely fantastic. I love the swirl in the Kieranite. And you got nice, much different type of kind of like swooshy pattern on the backside, and it's got this really cool like 3D effect going on. It might be hard to see via the camera, but nice reflective look on that. Looks absolutely gorgeous to the naked eye, I can tell you that. You're all kinds of happy, not as good as the last, but so much. Yeah, that movie was a lot of fun. I love the Mortal Kombat movies. I don't care, how bad a lot of people say they were. They were just fun watches. And that's all it needs to be. It just needs to be fun. Okay, so we've got the Jack Wolf Gateway Root Beer Kieranite. Now we do have a very serious half stop. Really nice, strong spring on these. And really well centered in there. Easily accessible nail neck. Really clean in the well when I got them out of the box. Kind of remind me how the Rosecrafts ones were. nicely polished, not just on the outside, but also on the inside, which is something I really, really like to see. Now, I did already clean and oil this, but it doesn't look much different than when I got it out of the box, aside from the fact that you can see a little oil in there. I mean, these were extremely clean knives right out of the box. Like I said, Rosecraft and now Jack Wolf knives were some of the cleanest slip joint knives I've ever gotten right out of the box, which is just it's great because I've gotten so many case knives, I've gotten so many Rough Riders and other traditional slip joint knives, and a lot of times they come in with quite a bit of gunk in them. Case knives aren't too terrible. On average, they're pretty good. However, the funny thing is, while I say on average case knives are pretty good when it comes to gunk being in the knife, they've also had some of the most gunk I've seen in a knife. Rough Riders and like Frost knives on average tend to be a lot dirtier and require a lot more cleaning once I get them. And I'm talking right out of the box. I'm talking right out of the box. They require quite a bit of cleaning. Case knives, again, not so bad. Sometimes I need to do a lot more brushing, but I think the worst case knife I ever got had like so much gunk in it. I don't know how the heck it left the factory with so much gunk in it, but cleaned it up and it's perfectly fine. It just took a little work to get all that gunk out. But yeah, Jack Wolf knives, Rosecraft knives, really nicely cleaned on the inside and even polished pretty well on the inside. So, and it's not even a part of the knife that a lot of people tend to see a lot of. I mean, you don't really think about it. You're looking at either, the shield side or the show side, PAL side, or the blade itself. Nobody's ever really looking at, eyeballing the inside. I do because I clean these things. But really, really nice knife. Now, the other one, same thing. It's a Gateway Stockman. The only difference is going to be the scales. They call this one the water. Well, this was the root beer Kieranite. This other one, I think, is the most. I think it's the higher priced one out of the Gateway Stockmans. There's another one, I think, but I can't remember if it's the same price or a little higher. That's done in abalone. I didn't pick one of those up, but this is the Watermelon Sugar Camo Carbon. So carbon fiber scales done in a watermelon sugar coloring, which I thought looked really, really cool. Otherwise, same blade, this nice strong spring, great half stop. Just really cool camo carbon colors. I don't know, it just occurred to me. I don't know if it's UV reactive. I haven't looked. Where's my UV light? Let's take a peek. I have lights on, so it might not be as easy to see. Let me turn the table light off real quick. Where's my UV light? There we are. Let me turn that on. Oh, it is UV reactive. Oh, it's very UV reactive. Okay, so I've got the UV light on. It shows up much easier to the naked eye, but that's got a really cool glow to it. Now, I can't it being daytime and there's a lot of windows in the bedroom. I turned off my table light, but my phone tends to compensate. But rest assured, this is very UV reactive. Looks really, really cool. Other side, I don't know if that side will show a little better. I'm trying to cut my hand a little bit to shield it from the window light. There we go. But yeah, very UV reactive. Looks really cool. I didn't even think about this when I got it. It just occurred to me that it might be UV reactive. I like that a lot. Now, I mean, it's just kind of like, it doesn't do anything for the knife other than just look really neat. I don't get too many things that are like this. So this is kind of a nice little add-on, I guess, to an already cool looking scale. That's really cool. Actually, I should turn it on brighter. It just washes it out if I turn my UV light on brighter. But yeah, very reactive. I wish I had a better way to show this thing. Can we turn this off? There we go. All right, just had to turn my flashlight off. I'll turn the table light back on in a second. Gotta reach for it. There we go. So these are the Jack Wolf Gateway Stockmans. A really great introduction to Jack Wolf knives. I really hope I can get a Jack and like a premium Jack Wolf eventually. They're just unfortunately priced out of my range, but I am so thankful that they had these gateways. I think this is a fantastic way to get a hand on a Jack Wolf knife without like losing your entire wallet. I don't know how long these will be available. I know the other gateways that I had missed when they came out, because I wasn't aware. Like this one, I was lucky to know when they were dropping. But I still think these are available. They haven't completely sold out on these, but I know the previous ones they've sold out on. And so I was really excited when they came out with another version of the Gateway. So that way I can get my hands on a couple of those. That's just really, really cool. I love checking out new slip joints from other manufacturers. I love Case, but it's always neat to see some really cool stuff from new manufacturers that I haven't had a chance to get anything from before. So those are the new knives that I got this week. I know this one's in a case, but it's a pricey one, so that's going to stay in the case unless somebody else wants to take a look at it again. Now, let me put these away real quick, these boxes. And then, I'm missing a box. Without further ado, we're going to get into the customization portion, because that's where it's going to take a lot of time, is customizing the knife. I'm going to be customizing another case today. The case that I'm customizing is going to be what's called a Mediterranean Blue Bone pocket worn. And the reason why I'm customizing this knife in particular is because I got a catalog from the Case Collector, I think it was the Case Collectors Club, like their what would that be if they send it out like maybe 4 times a year? Can't remember. It's not necessarily catalog, but like their magazine or their club letter, their club newsletter, the Case Collector. Recently got this maybe about a week or 2 ago, and they've got articles in here, stuff like that. Actually I probably got this around 4th of July. Now that I'm looking at the inside of it again. And as I was looking through here, now as part of the Case Collectors Club, you get offers and stuff like that for special like case collector knives that are also limited. And they had a Case Collector's knife called that's not it. There it is. Called the 2026 Case Collectors Club Blueberry Cobbler Bone Canoe, and it looks like that. So we've got blue bone with toasted edges, and it's essentially, I think they said what it was. Okay, so here it is. So it's a burnt peach seed jig navy blue bone. Now, I didn't get a navy blue bone, but I do have a Mediterranean blue, which is also a peach seed jig. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to emulate their blueberry cobbler, except I'm going to be doing a mini trapper. And let's go pull that knife out now so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. Is this the one? Yes. Now, I had a full-size trapper coming in, but that didn't make it in time. I thought I was going to be getting it this Saturday, or today, actually. But unfortunately, it didn't make it into the mail. I'm not getting it until next week. But I do have this mini trapper, and I figured that would be a good candidate to try to do the blueberry cobbler on. Don't mind me chugging more coffee. Give me a sec. Okay. And here's what we're going to be toasting today. This is a Mediterranean blue bone peach seed jig mini trapper, California clip point, and we have a spay blade with a half stop. Both have half stops, so just a little smaller than your typical trapper, but I thought would be a great candidate for it. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna which one I was gonna do. If I got both of them, or if I got the regular size trapper today, it was still gonna be a toss up between the two. But since the full size trapper didn't come in, I'm gonna go ahead and burn this one today. So let me just put this tissue back, and we're gonna move some stuff, and we're gonna get prepared for this. There we go. And I've got my tape. Oh, we got to move some of these blades. So we're going to move these off to the side for now. I'll put those over here. Out of the way. I've got my tin. Okay. And for those watching, if you guys got anything new, let me know. If you guys got anything new, I'd love to hear. Or if you have your eye on anything new, I'd love to hear that as well. This is a lot of times, this is how I find out about new knives that have not been on my radar. While I've been collecting for a long time, I'm no expert in this. And there's so many manufacturers out there that it's so hard to keep track of even half of them. I mean, the Jack Wolfs were the newest knives, or the newest manufacturer that I've gotten. I've been kind of wanting for a while. They just have some really, really awesome looking designs, and with modern steels, modern materials. I really like seeing those types of slip joints, and seeing that slip joints aren't exactly going anywhere. Because I think a lot of people sort of disregard slip joints as just being old, like grandpa-ish knives. So right now I'm just taping off the blade, so it gives me a place to hold if, as I manipulate, if I need to manipulate the knife a little bit by hand. And the tape makes it a little safer, because I did remove the burr on these, so these are really sharp. And I really don't feel like slicing a finger open, which I almost did. Good thing I put the tape there already. So with the blades open, we're going to give this a good wipe down. Make sure I remove any excess oils from the scale. I'm just using a microfiber cleaning cloth right now. Any residue, any oils, I don't want interfering with toasting the bone on this. I'm gonna check my torch while I'm doing this also. My torch is at max, so that's good. All right. And what do you think about that Kung Lao fight, Morgan? That was one of the coolest fights. That was one of the coolest fights in that movie, the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. They had some really good fights. Baraka was a little weird. But in the beginning fight was freaking savage also. Really cool stuff in that movie. Like I said, Mortal Kombat 2 was a fun watch. It's not going to get any acting awards, I don't think. But if you're into Mortal Kombat, and you can disregard the acting, it's just fun. Yeah, a lot of good fights in it. You're gonna buy it as soon as it hits DVD. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay. So we've got this wiped off pretty well. I'm just making sure there's nothing like weird sticking to it. I don't know why there would be, but I always check. All right, we're going to put that on the tin. And I always like to start on the shield side. So if I want to emulate what they did, they essentially just toasted really what looks to be the edges. It doesn't appear like they went over the ridges, so it looks like they just went to the flatter portions or where the bolsters are, and then it also appears like they hit along the edges here on the scale. I don't know if they have another picture of this at all. I don't know. That's the same photo, I think. Yeah, I don't believe they tried to burn any of the ridges in the center, so I'm going to try to emulate that exactly. I'm not going to go for any of the ridges in the center like I typically would. I'm just going to go, and my aim is to toast the flatter sides here towards the bolsters as well as the edges and see how that goes. So keep my fingers crossed. Is my lighting okay? Because my lighting seems like really weird. Brighten it up a little bit. You paid for HBO just to watch it. I waited until I had some sales and a sale and some credits. Actually, I had some credits, and I just got it on Fandango. Which, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna start over on this side by the shield, and I have my thermometer, right? Actually, what's the baseline? It's weird how the baseline. Okay, there we go. Because I know I had the air conditioner on a while ago. It's probably about 76 in the apartment now. But it's weird how these always tend to go a few degrees higher than ambient temperature, because it's telling me like 78, 79. Watching Ballerina just so you can check it out. I liked Ballerina. I actually enjoyed it. Hey, Raydell, how you doing? I liked Ballerina. Partially because it was the same universe, but I like the actress, and I thought they did a pretty damn good job, and it was kind of cool. I don't want to ruin anything. I just thought it was kind of cool. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so we're going to start off on this side by this bolster. We're just going to see how it reacts first. You see it lighten up quite a bit. So it burnt off a lot of the... There we go. A lot of the dye. We see the edges darkened really quick. We're going to see where we're at in the temp. And that's not a crack. That's just, it's going to, one thing you want to be aware of when you toast a knife, especially if you're toasting something that's like, you think is smooth bone. Sometimes there's these little dips and fissures that, just like these little tiny, not necessarily cracks, but they're never really perfectly smooth. And when you toast a knife, those little fissures and ridges will come and show up even more, where you might not have noticed them before. So that's showing there was a little like natural kind of not crack, but I don't know how else to explain it. It's just it's a natural bone, so they're not perfectly flat, but you can see that it highlighted that in the toast quite a bit. But you can see it lightens the die before it starts to toast. So there we go. So that's a start. I'm going to take a temp on that because I'm trying to be very aware of the temperatures that these get to. And that's cooled off already considerably. Hereditary for list purpose. Hereditary I liked. Ballerina I liked. If you haven't seen the new horror movie Obsession, I think that was a great one. I liked that one. I enjoyed it. Okay, and then we're going to go along the edges. One thing I'm noticing about the blue bone, this toasts quick. I don't know if it's the torch or it could be a combination of the new torch, because I did get a new torch. Okay, so we're getting along the edges. I'm the only person that's mentioned Obsession. Obsession has been going. It's been kind of blowing up. It's been kind of blown up. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. PTT, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. You really wish Case would start stamping the tangs again? In what way? Because if it's what I'm thinking about, they've always been stamping the tangs. Are you talking about these tang stamps? The dots? The Case XX with the lightning bolt S in the case in that stamp signifies that this is actually a stainless steel blade. If it was a carbon steel blade, that S wouldn't be like a lightning bolt shape. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay, I see what you mean. Actually stamped instead of lasered or etched. I get it. It's just was anything else. I think they're just going for more precision. I can understand your thoughts though. Actually, do I even have one with an actual stamped? I have. Where's my 73? I just said the date. That's it. I don't know if this is actually stamped. Only for 20 years down the line, you'll be able to sand it. Yeah, see, this is an actual stamp as opposed to etched. You can tell because the letters are kind of sitting in a slight depression. I figured if I had any stamped ones, this was definitely going to be stamped. This one is a two-bladed hunter. I can't remember the wood that's on there, but it is a wood scale. I got this one because I was born. This knife was born the same year I was born, not the same month or day, but same year. Good luck on trying to get everything. But I was gonna say, if I had a stamped tang, it would have been that. I got confused because they still call that a tang stamp, even though yes, they are etched. I don't know. I'm neither here nor there with it. It looks clean. The only reason why I even look at the tang stamps is basically just to tell age, or roughly when it was made. But yeah, I'm neither. I completely understand it though. I mean, it has a certain aesthetic to it. Now that I was looking at that older one. I'm going to go back, continue toasting this guy. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I am customizing this Case Mediterranean pocket worn Mediterranean blue bone 50 billion other word name mini trapper. I'm trying to emulate a trapper that they released to in the Case Collectors Club. They made a canoe out of a navy blue bone peach seed jig. They made a canoe called the blueberry. What do they call this? Blueberry cobbler? Yeah, they call it the blueberry cobbler. And I'm just trying to make my own. So I'm taking a Mediterranean blue bone peach seed jig and essentially doing the same thing on this mini trapper. So just watching the temperatures here. Again, my aim is I'm not going to go on the ridges towards the center. I'm just hitting the flatter parts towards the bolsters and then the edges as well. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the temp because there's going to get too high. Don't want to risk cracking the bone. Big thing when it comes to doing this with any case knife, patience. Don't ever rush it. I try to stay roughly no higher than 150. I've gone close to 200 without issues. But if you start getting really high, I mean, bone will tend to shrink a little bit under heat and can crack. So I stay roughly around no more than 150 if I can help it. I know I've gotten close to 200 without issue, but just trying to be on the safe side. So I've got a laser thermometer here that I'm trying to keep an eye on the temps. We're at right now, highest I'm seeing is about 112. So we're going to let it rest for a little bit. One thing you'll notice, I don't know if you saw when I first started on a lot of knives. I've actually done quite a few now. When toasting bone, one thing that's going to happen, the first thing that happens is a lot of times it'll burn the dye off. So the area that you hit with a flame, the first thing that's going to happen is that dye is going to burn off and it's going to start going very, very light towards white before it starts to take on starts to take on that brown toasty color. And you can see here, that's a lot lighter. This was a lot darker blue before I hit it. In fact, hold on a second. Yep. Okay. I was just shocked at how warm it was still. Not hot, didn't burn myself. But you can see the color here. That's originally how it was, because I haven't started on this side. And you can see how it lightened it up towards the tang side bolster before it started taking on the toast. I got to work on this side a little bit more. And then I've got to work on this back edge. And then we're going to go to the other side. I'm just waiting for it to cool a little bit more because they do warm up really quick. That's one of the reasons why when I do a toast, I've seen people do that while the knife is folded. I open the blades because they sort of act like a heat sink and wick away the heat. They help cool it a little faster. I still let it cool gradually. You don't want them to cool too fast. But having the blades open kind of acts like a heat sink, so it helps. I use a tin mainly to protect my table, but also acts as a heat sink and draws heat away slowly. But you still need to give it time to gradually cool, so that way the changing temperatures don't end up cracking the bone. This side I would think is just about done. I just want to work on this edge and then darken this portion a little bit more. But yeah, I've done a number of them, and I do them in different ways. My favorites lately, to be quite honest, my favorite ones have been the new bright green gator jigs that Case has come out with this year. Those have been my favorite ones to toast because I love the pattern. The pattern really comes out in it. Where do I have it? I know I have one here. This was a Barlow that I did. Now I don't have another green Barlow to show you what it originally looked like, but this is one that I toasted. It reminds me of the Shepherd Hill. Shepherd Hills has a collaboration with, or an exclusive with Case called the Lizard Skin, which is essentially a bright green bone that's been toasted. Now, the jigging on this is much different than the Lizard Skin jigging, but I still think looks really, really cool because when you toast it, the first things that toast or get darker are the higher ridges. And if you're careful, you can burn just the ridges, and then you get this cool pattern because of the jigging. And these have been some of my favorite to do because I just like the pattern of the gator jig. and it really shows off that toast. And I've done this on, I think I did an axe handle, was the last one I did. Where's the axe handle? This is the axe handle that I did, also in the green gator jig. So I toasted that one. I have an actual untoasted axe handle that I'm keeping, but I toasted one of them because I just really, really wanted to do one. And I think it just looks really good with the burn. And you know, it takes a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of imagination, you know, trying to think of how it's going to look in your mind's eye before you start toasting something. Another one that I liked a lot was I did some gray bones to try to emulate Shepherd Hill's tin roof series. And I don't know if I have that one out here at the moment, but I did nope, that's not it. Where the hell did I do it or put it? That's not that one. That's not it. Crap, damn it. I had it around here somewhere. That's not it either. I have so many case knives and leather slips on my desk. This one. I toasted a gray bone. This one is a carbon steel pocket worn Sodbuster Jr. And I was trying to emulate Shepherd Hill's, they call it a tin roof, which is essentially the same, just different jigging again, to give some highlight to those ridges. And then I did another Sodbuster Jr. with one of their tequila sunrises, which I thought really came out really cool. I call it like an autumn bone now, or a tequila sunset. It just gave a lot of definition to those ridges. They really stand out more. And on the edges as well. Just something I like doing with some of my knives. And I've been having fun doing it. So this should have cooled off considerably while I was showing those off. And, you know, again, it's like hit or miss. Depends on, you really gotta, like I had a tester. This one was a smooth bone that I was playing around with and was testing it. This one's copper lock, and you can see I went really dark on the bolster sides and then, you know, edges just to see how it would react. This is now, there's a crack on this one, like a hairline crack. And this is one of the things I was talking about earlier. I don't know if that occurred because of the toasting, because it's not a particular, you know, it's not at a point where like I really went hard on the sides. And this is just a tester. So, but there was a hairline crack like right under that shield. I don't know if it's because of the toast. I have a feeling that hairline crack was there, and I just couldn't see it because this was originally just a smooth white bone. And it's one of the things I was just mentioning earlier, where if you have little cracks or divots or anything like that when you're doing a toasting, they are going to stand out once the toast is done, because the way the flames hit and, you know, those edges tend to toast really quick. Any cracks or I guess you could say imperfections are going to really stand out. So I don't know if that was due to me toasting it, like it cracked because of the heat, or if it was already there and then just became much more visible when I did the toast. But that's that. Let's see if we can't get this bolster side and this edge done real quick, and then we can move on to the other side. And I work on batches, so I don't, again, because these heat up really fast, I don't want to crack anything. And depending on how close you use the torch, you know, that can determine how quickly it darkens. Let's see where we're at now, because I hit that quite a bit. We're at 142. 130. Let that drop for a little bit. Already looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm thinking that crack was there. And it doesn't go all the way through, which is another interesting thing. It's like just on the surface. So I think that little crack on the white bone, I think that was already there, and then toasting it just highlighted it. Because, yeah, these do kind of act like a highlighter. Any difference in, or any unevenness on the surface of the bone, it's going to just highlight. As you saw, like on the ridges on the Tequila Sunrise, the ridges on the Gator Jigs, you notice that the ridges were very dark compared to No Toast within the little valleys in there. It's just going to highlight all those high points. So if you have a crack, the edges of those crack are going to toast very fast compared to anything else. So that's why they act like little highlighters, highlighting everything that's on that knife. Also, one thing you want to be aware of, like I like to toast case knives. Now, case knives doesn't appear to put anything funny on coating their knives that I'm aware of. When I toast a case knife, I smell bone. In other words, when I toast a case knife, it tends to make me kind of snack hungry. And there's, at least not that I'm aware of, there isn't anything on the surface of the knife that I generally have to worry about. With other manufacturers, I don't know exactly what they put on them. Hey, BTC, gonna get on and mow the lawn? Okay, no problem. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. Other manufacturers sometimes will coat their bone knife or their bone scales in like I don't know, some type of protectant or something. So if you're not aware of what they coat the knife with and you start toasting it, you could be burning some stuff that could be giving off some really weird fumes. I have fans going and windows and stuff, so I'm making sure when I do these toastings I'm in a well ventilated area, even though I'm probably huffing these because they smell so good. But I've burnt knives from other manufacturers. One was a Browning, and I was doing a test on a Browning knife, and oh my god, that thing smelled horrible. It smelled so bad. Absolutely really? You thought because of the sound? I didn't notice anything weird with the sound. At least I didn't. Huh. I'll have to rewatch that again. I've watched that a couple times already. I liked it. I liked that movie. But as I was saying before, so yeah, be aware of the materials that are being used on the knives that you're toasting, just so that you're not burning something really weird. Because I think there was two things I think that were going on with that one, with that Browning knife. And I have nothing against Browning. Actually, for a really inexpensive trapper, it was really nice. But I think it had a protective coating on the bone because it was a red bone trapper. And I think it also had something to do with whatever adhesive they were using for their shield, the little emblem. I could see it when I was toasting the bone. You can see like whatever was being used as the adhesive kind of like bubbling up around their shield, which is like a scroll type thing. It's Browning's emblem, but you can see whatever they were using bubbling up between the bone and the shield, and that was giving off some kind of bad odor and smoke to it. So again, be really careful. If you've got a small one that you're not sure of, try testing it out before you go on to like bigger projects or more expensive projects. But yeah, be aware of what you're toasting. If it has anything coating it or they're using any weird adhesives. Your TV barely goes. Oh, you can't hear the dialogue. And the music almost blew your speakers. There might be a setting, a sound setting for either the movie or either within the movie or probably on the TV, where you can shrink the dynamic range. A lot of times, the smallest dynamic range where it evens out the levels the most extensive change is if you switch it to like a nighttime mode or sleep mode. That generally brings quieter sound. Generally brings quieter sounds louder, and also dampens much louder. So like brings down much louder sounds. It evens things out much more. So no, because I've had TVs where I've had TVs that did the same thing, and if you check the dynamic range, that helps a lot. A lot of times, and it's weird, they don't always list it as a dynamic range. Sometimes they give them goofy names, like movie theater mode, gaming mode, or something, and you just sort of have to play around with them. Oh, when they lower, you won't watch it if they lower the dialogue. I don't know. Again, my easiest fix is because I've seen that issue in a lot of movies, and I just fix the dynamic range, and it's perfectly fine then for me. And we just got a new TV, and I had to fiddle with the dynamic range on that one because again, they name them kind of weird sometimes. But that usually takes care of it for me. After that, I'm not going to say I've never had a problem, but I generally don't have a problem. There's still the odd movie out that sometimes will have that issue. But I would check that and see if that helps. That'd be my first thought. All right, let's see where we're at with this. And let me grab some more coffee. Keeping hydrated with coffee. Okay. One thing I also noticed is it could be the streaming platform. We were watching a movie. Where were we watching? We were watching it on Netflix. I was watching a movie on Netflix, and we had the volume up to like 60 on the TV, which would be ridiculously loud, and we could barely hear a word. And oddly enough, I think we were watching the movie, and my girlfriend just picked Netflix because it was already there, and so didn't want to bother sifting through other places. I actually owned the movie already on Fandango. She just happened to have it open on Netflix, and we had the volume up crazy high, and I'm neither of us we were having such a hard time hearing the dialogue. And then so since I already owned the movie on Fandango, I took a shot. I closed off Netflix and I put the movie on Fandango, and it was fine. It the audio on that was perfectly fine on Fandango. So that could be also part of the problem. So there's a lot of factors going into it. You got your the dynamics on the TV. You have the streaming service you're streaming it through, and I'm not going to say that the editors or whoever's doing the sound design in the movie, they do their own thing as well. But yeah, streaming platforms also make a difference. I almost forgot about that because that was just a couple nights ago, and I can't remember what movie we were watching. All I remember is I owned it on Fandango, and then switching to Fandango, it worked. Whereas Netflix, we couldn't hear shite. So that could be a thing. Possibly. Or it could even be a weird combination of all of it. I'm trying to even out the color here on the edges. I think we're just about done here. Just want to... I got some light spots I want to deal with. And then go on this side. And again, I'm not trying to toast the ridges in the center. I'm just working on... My aim is just the bolster sides and getting a nice toast on those and around the edges of the scale itself. Oops, turn the gas down. There we go. I was wondering where my flame was going. Okay, let's see where we're at now. Where'd my thermometer go? I think we might be done with this side. We're at 130 at the highest that I see. Let's try 118. 120. Okay. We'll let that cool off. And there we go. Are you watching that on HBO also? Because like I said, it could be that. You might have to try it on a different platform if you have it available on another platform. But I would give it a shot on another platform. Or check out the dynamic range on the TV. And if it's still having problems, I don't know what else to tell you. All right. So letting that cool off and opening if anybody's got questions on anything going on today. Why does this seem like maybe it's because of the reflectiveness of this? Is this going to change if I do this? I'm dealing with a new phone and I was having so many issues with this phone when it came to recording the last few weeks. I'm so glad it's working, but I'm noticing detail wise it's great, but I might have to fiddle with some of the video settings. Contrast seems to be a lot higher. Oh, now you have no interest in watching it now. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? So far I'm liking the way it's looking. That's very close to, let's take a look at that photo again. Ooh, that came out of nowhere. Oh, I am drinking coffee. So pretty close to Case's, I keep forgetting what they call this, blueberry cobbler. They call it a cobbler. Pretty darn good job, in my opinion. I was trying to match about how dark they got theirs. I'm right there, I believe. Didn't hit the center, so it's got... Now, it's a slightly different blue. I think. They toasted a navy blue. This is a Mediterranean blue. So I think the Mediterranean blue is a little bit on the lighter side. There's a bigger picture. But the jigging is actually the same. So that's not bad. I think that came out pretty well. I don't know if I still want to pick... I might still pick up the bone canoe, though, except the bone canoe is expensive. I mean, through Case Club, it's $110, which is ow. And the Mediterranean, this mini trapper, I didn't pay anywhere near that much for this Mediterranean trapper. In fact, the regular size trapper was much less than that as well. So if you're interested in creating your own and saving a little money, there you go. But that's looking pretty darn good. Now I am seeing some spots where I do want to even it up. It's the temperature laser. That's not my torch. What am I doing? Do see a couple more spots where I do kind of want to even it out a little bit. There we go. Let's look at this side. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're going to keep it there. It might lighten a hair after polishing, but it won't much. Okay, we'll let that cool. We'll let that get to around... It's right now, it's like 120 at its hottest. We'll let that get to around like 80, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. And then we will be done with this one. But really liking how it's coming out. I know contrast-wise, it seems kind of harsh. I'm trying to see if... Because I know the tin is very reflective, so I have a feeling it's doing stuff to the way the camera is acting. So maybe I'll keep it on a tilt. And see. Let's see. Or if I bring it closer, you guys can see a little better and how that's coming out. That little, I'm going to call it a, I don't know, blueberry cobbler, blueberry pie. I'll call it a blueberry muffin. There we go. Call it a blueberry muffin. You have to have some differentiation in there. So blueberry muffin, that's what I'll call it. They got the cobbler, I'm making a muffin. I'm liking the way that's looking. It's coming out really well. Mike dropped, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming by. Just another lazy Saturday, toasting another knife. We're making a blueberry muffin. Since Case calls theirs a blueberry, what the hell do they call it again? Blueberry cobbler. For some odd reason, I keep forgetting the word cobbler. And let's see if we can put these back in view a little bit, because I'm not torching anything on that side. Maybe that'll even out the lighting as well. Those were the new knives that I got this week. We got an SRM modern folding knife. We have a mahogany bone case 30th anniversary, and 2 Jack Wolf knives, Gateway Stockmans, that are really, really awesome. So those were the new knives this week. The knife purchasing is going to be much more sporadic and a lot less than it used to be, because, well, I'm just going to say things are happening of great concern, and I'm waiting to see what transpires before I really dive into getting more stuff. Oh, still visiting fam? Okay, no worries. Have a good one, Mike. Yeah, I'll be back on tonight. I do a video game channel at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time every night. And I think today I was invited to another co-op. People wanted to play 7 Days to Die again, and which I do have terrible fun playing. You were playing Reft. I was playing the weirdest game, but the coolest thing in the world. This game called Dino Blade. You're a dinosaur with a super large sword in your mouth, and fighting other dinosaurs with swords and other weapons. But it was really good. It sounds ridiculous, but it was really, really good and really fun. But that VOD's still on the gaming channel, so if you want to see that, go check that out. Link, I think it's in the description below. But yeah, I'll be back tonight doing some gaming. And I keep looking at this, and one thing I keep doing is second guessing, like how toasty I want this knife. Kind of want to add a little bit more every time I look at it. I gotta not do so much. Okay. The hard part is calling it quits when I've toasted a knife to a certain point. I keep wanting to touch things up, and I need to stop doing so much. Okay, we're going to end it there. We're going to stop it there, let it cool off. God dang it. I'll let it cool off, because we're still at 105 now. Let it drop. And then we'll flip it over. Stop staring at it and wanting to toast more. Because I don't want to toast too much. I don't want to toast the center. I just want to toast the bolster sides and the edges. And I notice that I'm starting to creep up on the ridges on the center, so I don't want to do any of that. Yeah. Okay, so we're good there. Just letting it cool, and we'll continue on. So anything else? Knife World. What do you guys have in your pocket? What have you been carrying? What new knives are you looking at? What's coming out that you're really interested in getting? I have been actually trying not to look at too much stuff, because like I said, I'm dealing with some financial stuff. And so I've been purposely keeping myself kind of out of the loop, with the exception of those Gateway Stockmans from Jack Wolf, but that was a while ago that I put that was way before the financial stuff when I put the order in. So yeah, I've been kind of intentionally trying not to stare at anything. Not that it doesn't keep stuff from falling into my radar anyway, but like, for example, I know there's a really sleek looking Romette that I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. It's a very kind of, how would I put it, like an executive style, something that you'd probably see like maybe in the pocket of somebody wearing a business suit, something like that. Really sleek, really classy looking. Not like an overly big knife. In fact, I'm trying to remember what it's called. But that's the, if there was anything else currently on my radar, aside from a few other case knives that I'm waiting for them to come out, like I know I've seen pictures of the Case Persimmon Gator Jig series, which looked really cool because I'm really starting to like the gator jigging. And I would love to toast one of those to see how that came out. But yeah, Persimmon Gator Jig from Case is like the only other thing that I've been staring at. What's the thing from Romette? Because I can't remember what it's called. But really classy looking knife. Where's their website? There we go. I'm just doing this while we're waiting for that to cool off completely. There we are. Romette. What model was that? They've got the camel, which I wouldn't mind having one of those. They've got, I don't know what that is. It just says best folding knife. I don't get that. It's sold out anyway, so good. Gosh darn it, where is it? Oh, I don't need any Halloween themed ones. You guys can make me. Okay, this was a mistake looking at their website. I should not have been looking at their website. But now I'm here. Now I'm looking. I don't even know if they're out yet. Are they out yet? Eligo is the name, is the model name. The Eligo, I guess. A play on elegant. I don't even know what the cost those are running at. I have a feeling, I mean, they're premium, so I have a feeling they're going to be a bit on the pricier side. Let's see if they have any more information other than the fact that they had them on Blade Show, because they showed them off on Blade Show Atlanta back in June. And yeah, I still don't see them on their current catalog, so I don't believe they're out yet, which is kind of a shame because I'd really like to know how much they're going to run. I have an odd feeling they're probably going to be around the ballpark of like 200, maybe between 200 and 250. I'm hoping for lower. But yeah, I don't see them in the current catalog. Just see some photos of them. But that's the only one that I've had an interest currently. I mean, I have an interest in a lot of Romette knives. Romette knives have been absolutely gorgeous, and just great knives in general. But that's the only one that I've been really, really wanting and currently waiting for. And I'm just hoping it's not going to be priced out of my range, because a name like Eligo and, aiming for elegance on that one, I have an odd feeling it's going to be on the high side. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it's not going to be. But yeah, if you guys are you guys looking for anything, or waiting for a release, you got your eyeball on anything, let me know. I get curious about that stuff. And again, that's how I end up learning about stuff that I need to not spend money on. Okay, enough looking at that website, because oh my god, already wanting to get spendy. And then I don't have a release date on the Persimmons. All I remember is seeing them on, I believe it was one of the case catalogs. I don't have that catalog in front of me. I don't think they were in the Collectors Club newsletter. I think I would have noticed if I seen it there. Yeah, I don't see it in this newsletter. So I think it was in the latest case catalog that I received, but I don't have the catalog in front of me. Checking a few websites though. Yeah, I'm not seeing any gator jigs from any retailers yet, so I don't believe those are out yet. I have no idea on a date. Let me see if I can just do a search on case persimmon. I can spell that. Bone gator jig. Let's see if we have any info on that. Okay, I did find one on Red Hill Cutlery, but it's a pre-order, so they are not out yet. It looks like, or it appears like they will be out in September, according to when it looks like they're going to be fulfilling that pre-order on Red Hill. And they're going to have different patterns, such as I saw a trapper, which doesn't surprise me. It looks like they'll have a single-bladed hunter, which is pretty darn cool. I do believe they're going to have an axe handle and a cheetah cub in that particular bone as well. I'm really interested in the axe handle and the trapper. So if I can get my hands on a persimmon bone, those are the two that I'm really going to want to get my hands on. Yeah, it looks like September is going to be the release date for the persimmon gator jig. However, I see a lot of stuff for the trapper, but I'm not seeing any other. Oh, no, they have a copper lock that's supposed to be released for that as well. So that's kind of cool. So they'll be releasing a copper lock. So right now we know trapper, copper lock, hunter, and axe handle. I'm not positive about the cheetah cub yet, but I know I've seen the axe handle out. Another one that I'm looking at that I'm kind of keen at, I've seen somewhere somebody had there was a picture of a what do they call it? Oh, wait, there it is. Kinfolk's molasses jig bone, which looks like a deep brown, black, and amber. And I think that's about it. Maybe they don't have maybe that's not coming out in a cheetah cub. I'm not that big on I mean, I like the cheetah cub. I think they're cool. But I'm not super big on collecting a lot of those. I've got a few in my collection, but it was more so I had a few just a few examples in my collection. If I could say there was one I really like trappers, mini, of all sizes, like this mini trapper. This should have cooled considerably. So I like mini trappers, tiny trappers, any type of trapper, and I like axe handles and sow bellies and baby docks, which they're not making anymore. Those are in the vault. And muskrats are the patterns that I really, really like. And I have examples of other patterns as well. I just don't collect them as much as I do like the trappers and the ones that I just named. So this has cooled off considerably. I think I like the way this turned out. Nice brown on the edges, leaving the center relatively untouched. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing. This is what it originally looked like, roughly. We're going to do the same thing on this side to match this here. There we go. And I'm going to again start on the tang side. It's going to lighten up a bit, and then it's going to start taking on the toast. Oh, that's taking an interesting color, because there's a lot more little mini ridges here, and that really highlighted the text. The toast really highlighted those little textures in there. I like that. Now we're going to do the edge. And then we're going to see where the temps are on that. Okay, we were about 150, 160, so we're going to give this one a rest. And then we'll continue on. But so far, coming out really nice. That one toasted a lot quicker than the other side. I think part of the reason is also when you're toasting, if there's any oils in the bone, it kind of cooks those oils off. And some of those lighter, milkier areas that, and those areas that got lighter from getting hit with the flame, sometimes those will darken back up again over time, and some of that color will return. I've noticed that, like when I was doing the gator jigs, it looked like I lightened up a lot of the dye that was in the valleys between the toasted ridges. And then once I was done, like the next few hours or even a day later, the color really came back, and in some cases even it just seemed darker. I doubt it got darker, but they just really came back. And I think part of it had to do with introducing a little oil back in, because after I'm done with toasting it, what I'll do is I'll give it a really quick hand polish using a sunshine cloth. And then I'll usually add a little bit of oil to the pivot area, because the oil tends to get cooked off when I'm toasting, and around the spring area. And sometimes that oil will seep into the bone and kind of darken the color a little bit. And I think that might be what's happening. So some of that color might return if you're doing like a gator jig and you're worried that you lost a lot of color during the toast. Sometimes that'll return, especially after you've oiled it. So just letting this rest. Again, anytime you're doing a toast like this, it's a game of patience. You're now at about 109. We're going to try to let that get down to below 100, then we'll work on toasting that again. Otherwise, coming along pretty nicely. I'm really excited that my camera's working again. That was my biggest worry. Oh my God, this phone was giving me a headache. With all the stops and starts and flickering. More coffee. Okay. We should be below 100 right about now. I'm seeing about an average of like around 85 degrees, so we can get back to that. I'm just working my way around the back edge. Then we're going to toast this side, the bolster, and then the other edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the bolster here. And there we go. Because I know that edge would darken when I got to it. Trying to even it out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see where we're at in the temp. About 140 was the highest and already dropping. Actually, where are we at? 127. I'll give that some time. It is cooling off pretty quick. That's looking really, really good. And it smells good. It's like barbecue, except you're barbecuing bones. Like a nice bone soup. So really nice. Hold on, sending a message to somebody because some other people are wanting to co-op, but already made plans with another group. Okay. Okay, where are we at on that temperature? This is a slow day today. You guys are quiet. 100, still over, just over 100 degrees at around, well, still hitting 107. So it's dropping. I just heard our air conditioner kick in again, too. So give that a few more minutes. So any questions on anything that I've had showed, any questions on my collection, or just knife talk in general, chat with me. This is why I like doing this stuff. I've learned so much from people in these chats. But sometimes we have our slow days. That's fine too. All right. We should be under 100 at this point, I would think. Oh, no, we're still hanging at around 100 degrees. Color me surprised. Although still dropping, so. So now we're at like around 90 on average. So I think I can continue on. Let's take a look. I think we're good with this side and that bolster as well. We're going to start working on this side, this edge now. And I'm just going to finish toasting this edge. So we're going to start from here. There we go. So we got that. I did that pretty quick. Trying to even the color on that toast. Let's see where the temp's now. Okay, we're at about 150, which is okay, good. Don't want to get any higher, so we're gonna let that cool down. We're already actually just about done with this, I think. Got a good amount of color over by the bolsters. As you can see there, keeping the blue in the center. Edges nice and toasty. Trying to match the other side, so I might darken. Actually, it looks like this side here on the shield side could use a little more toast to match what I have over here. I need to go a little darker. What are we temp wise? Might be able to do that now. We're at 120, so we'll let that cool off a little bit. And then I'll recheck both sides, make sure there's no areas I want to touch up. But we might be good. Just a little bit more on this side here, on this edge. because that's a little light in comparison. We'll see how that goes. I do check the temps pretty frequently because of how quickly these drop sometimes. Now we're still showing we're like around 120. Well, yeah, around 120, around there. Just under. So it shouldn't take long. Moving right along. Then we'll see. I think this might be the last one I toast for a while because I'm trying to think of any others that. I mean, the only other ones that I have an interested in toasting, unless I get my hands on another. If I can get my hands on an actual navy bone, I might try to do that just to see a comparison. But the only other knife that I'm really or other color that I'm really interested in toasting would probably be the persimmon. If I can get my hands on more green gator jigs, I might do those. Just because I like how those have been coming out. Those have been coming out really nicely. But the persimmon gator jigs are the only ones. And I don't think those are... Oh, I said those are coming out in September. So that's going to be a long while before those are out. But that's like my next... I guess my next big target for the torch would be the persimmons. And they have other persimmon bones, just not with that jigging. A lot of the persimmons that I see tend to be a smooth bone. Okay, we're under 100 now. Oh, no, just over. I was missing my target. Still about 110 degrees. I'll wait a little bit more before we try to hit that side or that edge. This side is actually already looking like it may be done. Ooh, that is sharp. I don't think I really have much to do in terms of touching up that side. I think all I've got left is to darken the edge on this side a little bit, which I think I can do now. Where am I at? Still showing over 100. Huh. Needs to cool off faster. 103, 106. Give that more time. Again, game of patience. I can't speed things up as much as I'd like to. So give it a few more minutes, and then we'll polish it off, oil it back up, and see how it goes. But hello to everybody watching, anybody watching. It is a slow week today, or slow day today. No worries, no matters. Okay, where are we at? Okay, now I've about 90. So I'm going to add a little bit more. To there. That's good. Now I've matched it to to that side. Just taking a look at this. Taking a look at the edges. Okay, the edges on this side look good. On this side, I'm going to even out this edge a little bit. Okay. And then we'll see where the temps are on that now. I think we're done. So we're at 123, 124. So just need to let that cool off. We can give it a nice polish. We'll give it a nice oiling. And we'll look at the finished product. Eating? What you eating, Morgan? What you snacking on? I made corned beef for breakfast with eggs. Or actually, I should say brunch, because I also woke up late. I don't know what the plan is for dinner tonight. I haven't decided on what I wanted to make. It's either burgers, pizza, or I don't know. I've been trying not to order out. Kenny grilled some burgers and brats. Ooh, that's tasty. Last time I ordered out, I ended up getting a shrimp dinner, and the girlfriend got chicken fingers and fries, and then a small pizza for both of us. That gave us a couple nights of meals. I wanted to get something. I wanted to get some Chinese food, but prices are going nuts everywhere. I don't eat out nearly as much as I used to. I remember a while ago, like a few years back, if I wanted to get like takeout for the girlfriend and I, might run like $50. Now, ordering pretty much the same stuff, wanted to get takeout, I think was running like $80, like almost double, which is nuts. And I'm talking about getting the same stuff I would normally get. Went from like roughly 50, a little over $50 to roughly around $80 now, which is insane. The shrimp dinner, the chicken fingers, and the small pizza, that still ran around like $60, but I ordered more than I normally would. Again, because I wanted to stretch it out for a couple meals. But that was like the cheapest option when it came to like ordering something for delivery. I've been cooking at home more often than not, though. Now, usually it's going to be like burgers, some type of pasta, some Filipino dishes. I've been doing the other Asian dishes as well. But compared to eating out, oh my God, it's gotten insane lately. But probably due to gas. There's a lot of reasons, I'm sure. Last time I filled my tank, it was like I filled my tank with regular, and I was just topping off a tank, and around me, regular gas was like over $4.10 a gallon. Like stupid expensive. Ordering out has not only gotten more expensive, but the food quality is decreasing. Yeah. Well, at least not. Well, maybe not in the case where I normally order, but I did also notice some things disappearing. Like for example, there were a couple restaurants that I normally would have ordered from, but they're gone. And even the place where I got the shrimp dinner, my initial thing is I wanted to get a rib dinner, so I was going to order ribs, but that was oddly enough taken off the menu, which is why I ended up going with shrimp. But yeah, I mean the general price or the overall price for delivery is gotten like stupid expensive. And I remember like especially when I lived on my own, I would probably order delivery maybe twice a week. But I was living on my own. I was only feeding myself, so it never really got that expensive. But I would order delivery maybe twice a week when I was on my own. Now it's like once a month, if that. And like the only reason why I ordered out to eat this last time was because I was so tired, because I do all the cooking. So it's like I was just so tired. It's like I need to not cook today. and that's the only reason. Because sometimes you just need a freaking break. But yeah, it sucks. There were so many things that I would have loved to order that I used to order, but I'm not going to pay $100 for maybe three meals at best. I don't, because I usually order enough for dinner, and then usually there's enough left for dinner and the next night, and maybe a meal or two during the day. But it's gotten so crazy expensive now. I've even changed where I shop. Normally, I used to go to a very well-known grocery store all the time, and the prices have gotten stupid. And now it's gotten to the point of where if I want to make the most of my money, I'm shopping at, like, gone are the days of being able to go to one grocery store and just get everything you need and just make one trip out of it. Now, if I'm wanting to save my money, I'm actually making either more trips or ordering from different places. Like, say, for example, you get like getting, say, toilet paper from Amazon, like toilet paper and paper towels from Amazon, but then going to like another grocery store for like frozen foods and this and that, and then maybe going to another grocery store for fresh meats and or veggies, and then going to another grocery store for, say, like cleaning supplies or kitchen, like kitchen bathroom stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, if you really want to make the most of your money going from, you're going from place to place, and I consider, like, how much it might be to just change to, to make those extra trips. Obviously, if it's more expensive to make the trip, I'm not going to do that. But more often than not, I'm saving more money going to different places. As to, I mean, it was nicer when you could just go to one place and grab everything you needed. It was so much nicer. Now it's almost a necessity of having to break everything apart, go to different places. Like when I go grocery shopping, I'm going to, at the very least, I'm going to 2 different places. Worst case scenario, if I'm like out of a lot of stuff, I'm like maybe grocery shopping at 2 different places, maybe 3, and then maybe ordering something else online, like from Amazon or something, because that's the cheapest place to get it. Usually it's the paper goods that I end up going to Amazon for, like, toilet paper and paper towels. Because for some odd reason, those are so much more expensive at the grocery store. Okay, so we are at the point where this is nicely cooled off. I'm just going over everything real quick to see if there's any places I'd like to touch up. Maybe even out the toast a little bit. But right now, it's looking pretty good. We got a nice toast on both sides over by the bolsters. Nice on the edges. It's looking a little dull because that's what happens when you toast. I might touch up this side here. It's looking a little lighter. So we're going to run the torch over that real quick. Then we're going to let that cool off again, because that would have raised the temperature. Where are we at? 118. Yeah, like not too bad. Like 112. So that'll cool off fast. Give that a little bit more time, and then we're going to go ahead and polish and oil, and then we should be good. Really like how this turned out, though. I'm already liking the way it looked. That does look really close to that that blueberry cobbler that Case put out. But it looks like the navy looks like it has a much darker blue than the Mediterranean, but the Mediterranean's still looking pretty good. I'm looking at that photo again. Another comparison. So it does look like the navy blue is quite a bit darker. And then with the mini trapper, there's a lot more flat area towards the bolster than there is on that canoe. I wish they showed both sides. I would have liked to have seen that. So, pretty darn close, though. Otherwise, really liking how that turned out. Let's see that temp. Okay, so we're at 80 something degrees. If I can stop lasering myself in the eyeball. There we go. So I think we are good. We're going to go ahead and give this a polish. Just giving it one last once over. Not seeing any pin cracks, no shield cracks, nothing. Everything's looking good. I like it. That turned out really, really well. Now, like I said, it's still got to be polished a little bit because toasting it does dull the bone quite a bit. And we're going to check the function of the blades as well. We got half stop. Let me take the tape off. I'll give this a polishing while the blades are closed. Okay. That's stuck to me. And oops. There we go. Snap that shut. See how that is. So still good walk and talk. Good snap. Didn't lose anything there. Sometimes heat will affect the springs. So that's another reason why I have them open fully. But I'm not feeling any difference in the springs. But yeah, that's why I have them open fully, as well as keep them below a certain. Oop, there goes my nail. As well as keep them at a certain temperature. I don't go above a certain temperature, and that helps prevent anything goofy from happening to those springs. Now, let me go grab my polishing cloth, which I thought I had out. I just realized is now currently missing again, even though I opened a new one. I don't know how I keep losing my polishing cloths. Getting to the point of ridiculousness with how these cloths keep getting swallowed by the nether realm, apparently. Okay, well, I've got some, let's see. Those were, I don't have that. I thought I dug it out already. I guess I didn't. So now I'm missing I don't want to open another polishing cloth. Those things can get pretty pricey. I seriously swear I had it out and it just disappeared. Which, this drives me nuts. This is what happens when you have a squirrel brain like I do. You're staring at something, you have it there, and next thing you know, in a matter of like a minute, the friggin' thing has walked off on you. And now you don't know where it went. So my guess is it fell off somewhere, but I don't even know. I don't even understand where it could have fallen off anywhere. There's technically nowhere else it could have gone. But I don't know how it does it. But that seems to be what happens for me. I'm really hoping it didn't get tossed in the laundry, which is a possibility. And the sunshine cloths you don't want to launder. You're not supposed to clean those. I'm actually digging through laundry right now. Nope, it's not in there. There wasn't that much laundry to begin with. Okay, so somehow I managed to lose a brand new polishing cloth. And you know what? I'm going to open one and then I'm going to find it, which is going to be annoying as hell. Yeah, I don't know how I do this. Just chalk it up to me being super scatterbrained. And I keep a bag full of these things. I have like one more brand new polishing cloth that I really don't want to open. Let's just use this. We'll polish it off with this and see if that helps. This was one of those case leathers, which actually does a really good job of polishing, but the the sunshine cloths actually have a polishing compound in them. And they really, really shine up bone and metal. Although the leathers don't do a bad job. It's actually returning quite a bit of the shine there. This is essentially like a leather chamois or chamois. Somebody's going to freak out about how I pronounce that. And it did return quite a bit of the shine. Just wish I knew what I did with the other polishing cloth. So we're just going to give this a good rubbing. I'll see how that goes as I stare around my area and try to figure out where the actual sunshine cloth I had came out, because I only have one left. And I don't want to open another one, but I know I opened one just recently. It should be around here, but hell if I know where the hell it went. And the funny thing is I could have sworn I took it out before I started this stream. I hate my brain. There we go. Let me just check it. I'm going to check a case real quick. Make sure I didn't just like close it off in a case, which wouldn't be the first time I've done that. Like laid it on top or inside a case and didn't realize I did that. But no such luck. Not seeing it there either. So somehow I managed to lose a perfectly good cloth. Crap, damn it. How the hell do I do that? I don't even know. I don't even understand how easily I lose this stuff. It's practically super disappointing at this point. Because there's not many other places that cloth could have gone. Ah, shit. Alrighty then. Okay, been giving this a pretty good rub down. It did shine it up pretty good though. So the leathers worked pretty well. Kudos to Case Leather Chamois. They did a pretty darn good job. Let's take a look at that color on that bone. So we got some of the shine back up, and I just pressed a thumb against my glasses, and now I can't see a thing. I'm having the best time today. So here we have, I'm going to call it the blueberry muffin. It's my shot at trying to emulate the blueberry cobbler that Case was making for the Case Collectors Club, their canoe. I think that came out really well. That came out pretty darn close. Where did I put that magazine? There we are. So we're going to do one more look at it again. This is the Collectors Club blueberry cobbler that Case came out with. I just wanted to try my hand at making my own. You can see the Collectors Club badge, canoe pattern. And theirs was a pocket worn, what do they call it? Burnt peach seed jig navy blue bone. Okay, so not even pocket worn technically. So peach seed jig, navy blue bone. And I did this on where'd the box go? So I could read this title in its entirety. A number 51852 pocket worn Mediterranean blue bone peach seed jig mini trapper. So pretty damn good likeness of the Collectors Club version. Now we're going to go ahead and oil that. That might very well change its look even more. But when I toasted this thing, I probably burnt off any oil that was in the pivot, because that stuff burns off pretty quick. And then if there was any oil around the springs, that would have been burnt off as well. So just real quick, moves that stuff around. Holy cow, I gotta get myself a new gaming chair. This thing's loud as hell. How's this knife? I'm looking around and I just found a knife in a box. This happens a lot more often than you think. What the hell is this knife? Oh, this is that squirrel knife I got, the marbled squirrel knife. Forgot about that. I showed that a while ago. Just wondering where that went. You go there. Okay. So we're going to oil this up real quick. Where's my oilcloth? I have those. This cloth's just soaked in oil. Or I used to soak up oil. There we go. Michael! You don't eat out, they don't use spices. It depends on where you go, I guess. I think. Yeah, I was trying to emulate that cobbler, and I think I did a pretty decent job of it. Still debatable if I want to go darker, but I think I'm good. I want to be careful. I don't want to do it too much, because once you get it toasted, you can go darker, but you can't go any lighter. So if you go too dark, you're kind of screwed. So all I'm doing now is I'm finishing this off I polished it a bit, gave it its shine back. Where did I put my oil? There you are. So we're just going to add some oil to the pivots and clean it off a little bit. Got my brushes. And thank you very much, Michael. And welcome to the stream. There we go. Got some brushes. So I've got here, this is camellia oil, essentially Japanese knife oil. Kurobara 100% pure camellia oil. I use this for almost every slip joint or traditional knife that I get. And this is what I use to lubricate pivots and clean gunk out. So we're just adding a little bit to the pivot, using the brushes to clean any gunk that might be there. I mean, I've already cleaned this knife before, so I don't imagine there's going to be really much of anything. But it also wicks away any excess oil, so it's not completely swimming in it. And it'll smooth out the pivot since I burnt off all the oil when I was toasting this. There, so we're good there. Nice snap, great half stop. And I'm just going to put a little bit. Normally when I get a new knife from Case, I like pour a good amount there and let it run down the well. I'm just pouring a little bit and then brushing off any excess as I swipe it down. And this just keeps the spring nicely lubricated, kind of cuts down on any wear and tear. Because the spring and pivot are moving parts, you got metal rubbing up on metal. And now this particular knife didn't feel gritty or anything at all. It's just, I'm just doing this to make sure I clean any stuff out and then help mitigate any wear and tear on those parts where they're kind of rubbing up against each other, like the pivot and the springs. Then I'm just trying to make sure I remove all the excess because it's going to start seeping out the other side as well. And I think I got most of it out already. Some of it's going to seep around the springs on the other side. It's going to happen. Just remove as much as I can. Good snap there. And then a little bit on this side, on the secondary. Removing the excess. So it's nice and clean. And oh, there goes that brush. These brushes, the tips come off pretty easily. But they're cheap as hell. And you get I think I got like 500 of these things for like less than $10. They're really handy for cleaning these knives out. So I have a lot of these on hand. So nice and oiled, nice and clean. I'm just looking for any places where oil's kind of pooled and then dipping the brush there to remove the excess there. And you can see some oil leaking out the back end already. That's just going to continuously come out the back end a little bit, and it'll eventually stop once all the oil has wicked away. I just rub the spring on this side to help remove that. And then, yeah, I can see already, because the oil starts to seep into the bone. Some of those areas that I torched that turned a really light blue, they're darkening up again a little bit. And that'll probably continue to happen as more oil starts to get soaked into the bone. But that's looking really good. I'm liking the look. I might have to do this again with another one. I'm calling it the Blueberry Cobbler. Let's check the secondary spring. There we go. Nice snap. Good walk and talk. Ooh. Very sharp blade. let's wipe off any. I think I saw some excess oil. I'm doing a number on my nail. Wipe off some of that oil that's on the kind of pooled around the tang. There we go. We'll check that other main blade. And it's looking nice and clean. Very happy with it. That turned out really well. Then again, I like the look when I saw that blueberry cobbler that they did on the canoe. I thought that looked really neat, so I was excited to try this one. Somebody's mentioned doing this before. I just couldn't. I was just trying to imagine it in my brain, and that's why it took me a while to even think about doing it, because I couldn't really picture it in my head. So I'm kind of thankful that Case did one, and was able to give me a visual of what it would look like when I took, if I took a torch to it. So now that I had an example, I didn't have any problems with trying this on a Mediterranean blue, and I'm glad I did. I think it looks great. Chicken fried. That's what you call your son's truck, blueberry. But you pronounce it Blue Betty for for Hispanic roots. Blue Betty. I like that. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the original. This is why I did it. Case Collectors Club Summer Edition, and they have the Case Collectors Club 2026 Blueberry Cobbler canoe. Except theirs is a peach seed jig navy blue bone. I did a peach seed jig pocket worn Mediterranean blue. And I loved the way that looked. I think it came out really nice. And so I had to do it myself. Because as much as I'd like the canoe's not my favorite pattern. I've got a few canoes. They're fine. I have nothing against canoes. They're just not my favorite pattern. So the canoe here, I think their cost on this, if you're part of the Case Collectors Club, like I am, they're running at 110. So I decided I've got some Mediterranean blue bones with the same type of jigging. I'll make my own. That's what we did. Made my own. And I couldn't be happier. That came out really, really well. So I'm going to call it the blueberry muffin to differentiate it. But yeah, I think that came out really well. I kind of want to do another one now. I'm just not sure what. I do have a full-size trapper coming in. Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like to keep an original just so I have like comparisons, like, hey, this is what it would look like normally. This is what I did to it. I do have a Mediterranean blue Sodbuster Junior, but that was given to me by my girlfriend. So I don't want to do anything to it. I like to, if it's a gift, I like to keep it as is once I received it, unless it was sent to me specifically, here, do this to it, and it's yours. In which case, then, okay, sure, why not? But normally, I'll get like two of a knife, keep one, and then burn the other. I don't have two Mediterranean blue bones, or I don't have two of these mini trappers, but I do have a full-size trapper coming in that I'll probably just keep as is. But I kind of have the itch to do another one. I kind of want to see if I can get an actual navy blue bone, because the navy blue does look like it, at least in the photo, it does look like a darker blue than this. I gotta be careful. I should close this. But I don't know. That still looks pretty good. Nice and dark, especially on this this side. A little bit more lighter highlights on the badge side. But that came out really, really well. I wish I could figure out what I did with my sunshine cloth, because I can probably get this to shine even more if I had the sunshine cloth. But the case leather is doing a pretty good job. It's actually a surprisingly good job of polishing it up. You can see the shine again, where it was really dull after torching. I'm getting a lot of notifications on this phone. Shut up. So thankfully that leather is doing a really good job of bringing the shine back. I'm actually surprised at how much it's bringing the shine back. I didn't think it was going to do that. I didn't think it was going to shine it up that much. But it's coming out really good. It's going to bug me that I can't find my sunshine cloth. I'm going to have to buy more of those. Those things are handy as hell. And I'm down to my last one if I can't find the other one. So that came out really good. I am really happy with this one. There we go. So that's the new customized blueberry muffin that I did. These are all the knives that I got just this week. If you missed out earlier, this week, this was from Monthly Knife Club. This was the SRM 255L MG2. Did I get that right? It's on here, so I can... Yeah, 255L MG2 in 140 CR steel, which is really cool looking. And again, made by SRM with a crossbar lock. And then from Chasing Blades, I had picked up a mahogany full-size trapper, 30th anniversary. Pocket worn mahogany, which I'm loving the pocket worn. Hey, Terry, how you doing? Loving these pocket worns, or not just the pocket worns. I'm loving the mahogany. I think the mahogany looks freaking amazing. I'm not even big on Barlow's, but I know that Chasing Blades has a 30th anniversary mahogany bone Barlow that I have my eyes on, and I'm really considering picking that one up. And also from Chasing Blades, let me move all this stuff off. We had gotten, I put it back in the case because I don't want to lose anything. There, I got this Wildlife Series collector's knife from Case, also in a trapper, which looks really, really cool. You got a turkey there. I'm guessing that's a pheasant, a deer, and an elk, and a little collector's coin and certificate of authenticity on that one. A nice little jewelry box, or I shouldn't say little, nice huge jewelry box. Put that back. And then I'd gotten two knives from a manufacturer I've been wanting to get knives from before. They just tend to be a bit on the expensive side, and that's Jack Wolf knives. They released their Gateway Stockman just last week. Yeah, it was just this last week. I think on, was it Tuesday? No. When did I order these? Because it had to be the week prior I ordered it, I think. But anyway, they relatively recently released the Gateway Stockmans, and they have numerous versions. I've got here the root beer Kieranite single bladed Stockman and the watermelon sugar camo carbon Gateway Stockman from Jack Wolf Knives. I've been wanting to get a Jack Wolf knife for so long. I'm so happy they came out with the Gateways, because Jack Wolf knives tend to be pretty expensive normally, and the Gateways are a great budget option from Jack Wolf. And you still get some great looking knives, great quality knives, but at a much more affordable price, with 14C28 and steel. Great half stop. I'm really liking the look of the root beer Kieranite and this watermelon sugar. And these run roughly around, I think it was between 70 and 90, depending on the type of scale. I think this one, the Camo Carbon Watermelon Sugar, was one of the pricier options that I run. I think this was like 85. I think the priciest option might have been the Abalone. And if it doesn't run the same cost as this, I think it might have run $5 more for the Abalone version. They also have a Blue Bone and I believe a green micarta color in this Gateway model, but these were the two that I wanted because I thought they looked great and absolutely fantastic looking, in my opinion. My first one's from Jack Wolf, and the Camo Carbon is UV reactive, which I thought was really, really cool. I'm going to do that again just because it's neat. Turn my light off. And I know it's still bright here, but I'll turn my UV light on, and you can see it react to the UV light. It's much better in person than on camera. I'll tell you that right now. But the glow when you hit it with the UV is intense. I don't know how else I can show it. Let me do this. Maybe if I a black piece of cloth that I had cut out a while ago. Maybe it'll show a little better. Oh, this is the one I was using for freaking. Oh, this has got like metallic pieces. Yikes. I was using this when I was sharpening some stuff. So all that stuff you see reacting, that is. Oh, wait, no, that's dust. I was wondering what that was. I thought those were metallic pieces. It's dust. That's kind of cool. No, I don't use it for anything else than that. That's gross. Stop it. You're being weird. I thought those were metallic pieces. Like because I'll use a cloth to wipe off when I'm sharpening a knife. And I didn't want to scratch anything up. But that glow comes out really nice. I just wish you could see it easier, but I can't fully darken this room, unfortunately. Can we turn this light off now? Or not? I have no idea. I turned my light off. Okay, there we go. Turn my light off. And I'm going to turn this one back on. But yeah, if you were looking for a really cool UV reactive knife, this one reacts really, really well. And they are razor sharp. I did a video on these that I haven't released yet. And I did a cutting test on both of these. I'll put this one back over here. So both open. I did a cutting test. And I normally don't do a cutting test on a lot of slip joint knives. A lot of times because like case knives, a lot of times when you get a brand new case knife, they come with a burr that you have to remove. And I just don't normally bother while I'm doing a video. But these right out of the box, nice and super sharp. And I mean, doing that little swirly cut, easy as hell with this knife. And that watermelon sugar one, just as sharp. Ow. So I'm really impressed with Jack Wolf knives. I've never had a Jack Wolf knife up until this Gateway because they tend to be pretty darn expensive. So really happy that they came out with a new Gateway. Not to say that case knives can't be sharp. It's just that when you get them out of the box, and a lot of times when I'm doing a video, I'm taking the knife out of the box for the very first time. Like I haven't even really looked at it. And so naturally, when I open up a case knife, a lot of times they have a little burr on the edge of the knife. I don't know why they don't just remove the burr. A lot of people have said that way, nobody's sharpened it yet or, done anything with it yet. I don't know, you know, that's what I hear anyway. And it's really easy to take the burr off, though. And once you've taken the burr off, more often than not, the case knife ends up being super sharp. Like this one. This maybe not as sharp as that Gateway one was, but still. Oh, this one's actually pretty good. Now I hit the choil on that. But yeah, and that's just from removing the burr. And when I remove a burr from a case knife, usually I'm not doing anything more than running over a ceramic rod like this here, like a fine ceramic rod, and then I'll take it to a leather strop and I'll strop it really fast. And that's generally all it needs. I think I've only had maybe, out of all the case knives that I've had, the majority have had a burr, and out of those, I might have had like maybe 1 or 2 case knives that I've had a little bit of trouble with removing that burr. More often than not, they come out pretty damn good once I've taken it off. Personally, I mean, I love case knives. Nothing wrong with case knives, in my opinion. I think they're great. However, I'm just one of those where I don't understand why they can't just remove the, you know, just finish it off. Finish off the blade. Because everybody else can do it. I mean, Jack Wolf does it. Every other knife manufacturer doesn't leave a burr on there. And they're doing pretty fine. But I don't know. I don't know why they do that. It's just something I've grown accustomed to with case knives. But like I said, it's not a big deal when they're very easy to remove. But it's one of those things. I still love case knives. Don't get me wrong. I think they're absolutely gorgeous knives. And when you get a nice one, I mean, no two ever really look the same. I just like their uniqueness, the materials they use, and they're great knives. I carry a case knife a lot. I'm almost always carrying a case knife, with some exceptions. I have so many knives that I switch off a lot, but more often than not, it's a case knife of some sort and a modern knife. And usually, if I'm carrying a case knife, it's going to be one of 3. It's usually either a Sodbuster Jr., a mini trapper like this, a sow belly, or an axe handle. Now is a lot of times what will end up in my pocket. Excuse me. Oh, dang it. I'm out of coffee. That's a bummer. But really happy with how that came out. But that actually didn't take nearly as long as some of my others. That actually, I managed to finish that one off pretty quick. Let me know what you think. I think I didn't do half a bad job of emulating that other knife. And if you got any questions on anything that you see here, I'd be happy to answer them. I've got this knife, SRM. This one came from Monthly Knife Club, which is a monthly subscription service. The case knives that I have here today, including that other one that's in the box, I got from Chasing Blades. They sell knives on Whatnot. And I do a ton of business with them. There's the sticker from Monthly Knife Club and the one from Chasing Blades. These I actually got from Knife Center. I believe, yeah, I got these from Knife Center. And I believe they're still available. So if you're looking for a Jack Wolf knife, you've been wanting to get a Jack Wolf knife, now's the time to get one since they have the gateways. Let me check to see if they are, in fact, still available. I don't want to say anything and then find out that, nope, can't get them anymore. Knife Center. But that's where I got the Jack Wolves. Let's see here. And just see if they are still available. Yeah, They are. Oh, okay. And I was wrong on the pricing. Which one is this one? The watermelon sugar is coming in at coming in at $80, $79.99. Still in stock on Knife Center. The root beer Keurig I thought was a little less. Oh, but I'm not seeing the root beer. Are they out of the root beer? They might be out of the root beer because I am no longer seeing the root beer. That's kind of a bummer. In fact, the only two that I'm seeing on Knife Center currently are the watermelon sugars, which is this one here, and then the green Micarta, which runs at $69.99. Oddly enough, I'm not seeing any of the other colors, like the root beer Keurig, which this one is. They had an abalone, and then they also had a smooth blue bone. But I'm guessing those are out of stock. Usually they show them even if they're out of stock, but I'm not even seeing them on the website, which is kind of strange. Let me try a different search just to make sure that I'm not going nuts. Nope. They are not showing up. So it looks like those are the only two gateways they have available for Jack Wolf, for their Stockmans. So if you want to grab a Stockman, do so soon, because all the other gateways have been, they tend to go out of stock really fast. And I don't know if it's something that they bring back. I think they only make a certain amount, so they might be limited. Not quite sure on that, because every time I've checked on the previous gateways, because I really wanted a gateway, since they were much more affordable than your typical Jack Wolf. Every time I've seen a gateway, any of the older gateways, they're always out of stock. They're always gone. So that leads me to believe that they only make them in limited batches. So grab one while you still can, either the green Micarta or the watermelon sugar. I don't know. Now I've only checked Knife Center because that's where I got mine. It's still possible you might find some of the other ones from other retailers. So I would check around if you're looking for a Jack Wolf. I'm really impressed with them. I'm really surprised, and I'm not too surprised. I've been hearing a lot of good things about them, but really impressed with Jack Wolf. They're the newest manufacturer I've got a knife from. Rosecraft have actually been really good too. If you're looking for something a little less on the, a little less expensive than either Case or Jack Wolf, those run a little less on average with than both Case and Jack Wolf. I think the Rosecraft ones I've gotten were roughly between 50 and 60 at most, if that much. But really liking a lot of these new slip joints that I've been seeing. And I've developed this real love for slip joint knives. Not that I'm getting away from modern knives, but slip joints also tend to be much more affordable, depending on the modern. But then again, I guess when it comes to modern knives, I tend to look at the much more expensive ones. I have expensive tastes. Not really. I can't afford half the ones I stare at. So let me know if you have any questions. This is where I generally just open up to knife chat in general, talk about anything going on in the knife world, things like that. I still haven't seen any update on that HX Outdoors. I keep hoping that Steel Hardness Lab is going to run their test on one. He mentioned he was interested in doing a test on one of those, but I haven't seen the test come through yet. I know he's been working on a lot of knives and testing out a lot of knives. Why the hell is my printer going screwy? You really decided to go do maintenance now, weirdo? yeah, he's been doing a lot. He's been adding a lot to the Steel Hardness Lab website. And I keep hoping for that HX Outdoors because I'm still waiting to hear the verdict on those, because those were super cheap for supposedly really good materials. And I'm kind of curious to see how they handled the heat treatment on those. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have today. Wanted to do a customization, show off some new knives that I picked up. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Chicken Fried was on a live with Taylor till like 4 a.m. this morning. Oh my God. With Taylor, you were on a live with Taylor till what time did he start his live? I didn't know he was doing lives. I'm assuming you're talking about the Taylor that does the Steel Hardness Lab thing. Cool guy. Yeah, he seems like a really cool dude. I haven't seen a lot from him. Most of the stuff at least just like I've seen like small blurbs and conversations he's had, like when he's like reacting to something on like Instagram or something like that. And he does seem like a really cool guy. I'd love to catch one of his lives. I just don't know. Oh, why is my table shaking? Stop it. I'd love to see one of his lives. That'd be pretty cool. It was another live. Okay, I thought he was doing a live. Was another live. He just joined and shared info. Yeah, Taylor Hardness. That's cool. That's really cool. Who was the live from? Oh my God, somebody was up doing a live that late. Oh, I see why my table was shaking. It's because my knee was bobbling up and down. Yeah, I can't wait to see if he does a test on that. I've been keeping a close eye on the website. It's really actually, let me check, because actually I've been keeping more of an eye on Instagram. I never saw it pass through Instagram, so let me check the website one more time just to see if he did do it. I happened to miss it. Did a lot of checks on Hosang Spyderco's again. Let's see here. I need to do a search. How do I do that? There we go. And no, it doesn't look like he's did one. KO Knives was the live. Oh, okay. Not familiar with KO Knives. I'll have to check that out. Oops, I can't spell worth crap. Okay, burpee. It doesn't appear that he's done anything with the HX Outdoors yet. I keep hoping he will. And the reason for that is because the HX Outdoors knife that I have, where is it? I have it on my table. This thing was like $40. Okay. Not a bad looking knife, not a bad feeling knife, but it was like 40, yeah, just around $45, just under $40. And I've seen these going around on like Whatnot quite a bit for really low price. But this particular model, again, for like under $50, was supposed to be, this is labeled as S35 VN steel with a titanium. Now they do say titanium alloy scales, which usually you hear titanium and you hear S35 VN, and then you start thinking at the very least like around $100, like just over $100. But this thing was half that, less than half that. In fact, the lowest price knife that I've seen that has like S35 VN steel is generally the Case Knives Crossroads. All the Case Crossroad knives are S35 VN steel. And even those tend to run, if not just under 100, like some like the Barlow's will run over $100. So to see a knife like this with advertised steel of S35 VN and, you know, titanium, although titanium alloy, scales for under $50 is like crazy to me. Now, I have been using this. Surprisingly, it doesn't show much scratches, and it's holding up okay. I haven't had to do much to it. But but that's just I don't have any other scientific ways to test. I'm just like using it on a day-to-day basis every now and then just to see how it performs. But I'm really curious to see how it holds up to like Taylor's testing, when the hardness test, and see where it stands, because it blows my mind that you can get a knife like advertised with that stuff, those materials, for under $50. It's crazy to me. Like, something has to be being like, there's corners being cut. Either it's not really S35VN, or they're not doing the heat treatment really well, or they got an amazing cost or price for their titanium alloy scales. I don't know what it is, but I'm really curious to see how that knife still holds up. And I did mention it to Taylor on an Instagram post, and he actually responded, and he seemed really curious himself. I just haven't seen it done yet. I'm kind of hoping he does it soon, because I'd really like to see it. That's one thing I'm holding out on. Crossing my fingers he's going to do that test. But that's cool. You got to kind of see him you see him in chat. But yeah, nothing on the website. Kind of curious. Last models, it looks like he's tested a Spyderco Stage 5 and Rex 121, Magnamax, Hosang, which I'm not familiar with. 107 new knives. I'm just gonna scroll through that and see if anything pops up. Hogue, Spyderco, Hosang, Benchmade, Gerber, Ramet. Well, he tested an Eligo. I really, really want an Eligo. How much? Okay, I didn't see one on Ramet's website. Good grief. Is there? Maybe somebody else has got them. Kind of curious where you got the Ramet Eligo. Oh. Why didn't I find it before? Now I find it. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, that's not bad. It is in stock. Not as bad as I thought, but it is still kind of pricey. We're looking at least on Ramet's website, the Ramet Eligo M390 blade. Various different colors and finishes. We're looking at $195. So I wonder what I can find on Whatnot. I'm gonna have to look. I don't know why I didn't find it at first at Eligo when I did a search, but now it popped up. That's weird. It's just a sleek looking, very like CEO-ish or kind of, well, Eligo, kind of a very elegant little folding knife. Just look up Ramet, Eligo. Redefining Edge of Elegance, designed by Ostapel. I'm pronouncing his name right. Got a blade length of just over 2 3/4, and M390 steel titanium scales. I really want one. I gotta pick a color because I can only get one. I don't know if, well, actually, I don't even know if I can get one. I'm still watching things because I'm keeping an eye on my financials for reasons. Need to start. Okay. When it comes to Whatnot, be really, really careful. I think I started doing what, I'm not sponsored by them in any way, before anybody wonders if I am, because I know I've mentioned Whatnot quite a lot. Whatnot's great if you're really, you can, there's a good chance you can find a really good deal on Whatnot, but do know who you're dealing with, and also do know, make sure you know about what you're looking for, like what the average cost is for the knife that you're looking for, because in some cases you can get a really, really good deal. In other cases you could actually end up paying more. So knowledge is really important, when dealing with whatnot. Um, there's a lot of very good sellers on whatnot, but there's also a lot of sellers that could be kind of iffy. And there's a few sellers that I personally trust, I've purchased from, and there's a few sellers I tend to do the most with, like Chasing Blades, for example. You hear me mention Chasing Blades a lot, because I've done a lot of purchasing through them, and on average, I probably save quite a bit. With a lot of the stuff that I get from them. But usually I go to Chasing Blades for slip joint or traditional styled knives. Like a lot of my case knives come from Chasing Blades. There are others like SMKW. If you're familiar with Smoky Mountain Knife Works, they have like one of the biggest knife stores, if not the biggest knife store in the country. But they also sell on Whatnot, so they have auctions there. So Chasing Blades, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. There's Appalachia, Freeze Dried Knives, Bardstown Blade Company, a lot of those for traditional styled knives. When it comes to modern knives, I like going to Going Gear or Blade City, are two of my favorite ones to go to. A lot of times there's a good chance you can get a pretty decent deal from Blade City or Going Gear, but it's all auction styled. Keep that in mind. So a lot of times you are competing with people on a live auction. So it can, in some ways, be kind of addicting. If you have a very addictive personality, it's kind of hard. Sometimes it might be hard to be like to like start swiping and bidding on something that you really want, and before you know it, you're paying a little bit more than you intended to. So it's just a matter of control and being knowledgeable about what you're looking for. So you're not overpaying for something you could have bought less somewhere else. But I've gotten some really good deals from it. I've got some really good deals from it. I've saved quite a lot of money on some of the knives that I get. Just be aware that it could be kind of addicting. Like I got on Whatnot, my collection exploded. Admittedly, I've probably overspent. Compared to how I usually go about before I got Whatnot. Usually it's go to an online retailer or go to a store and happen to see something really cool, things like that. That's how my knife collecting used to be before I got into Whatnot. Most of my knife purchases were just like purchased through like online retailers, like for example Knife Center. Blade City has an online store. SMKW, obviously. I've actually, when it comes to ordering online, like not Whatnot, but like an online retailer, most of my purchases I tend to go to Knife City, SMKW, even though they have auctions. SMKW holds auctions. I actually probably buy more from their website than I do on their auctions, because they're really popular. So a lot of times they have a really big crowd during their shows, and their crowd tends to be really, really thirsty, if you know what I mean. And sometimes you got people that don't care how much they're paying for a knife that they just really, really want, and there's just no beating them. Next thing you know, it's like, wow, okay, that price went for $50 over what I could have bought it on, on the website. But it's how they are sometimes. It's not SMKW's fault. It's the people that are bidding on it. But at the same time, a lot of times when it comes to like rare exclusives, if you're looking for those rare exclusives, there's a good chance if they're sold out on an online store, you might be able to find it on an auction on Whatnot. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people tend to have FOMO at auctions. Exactly. Keep in mind that if you're looking at limited edition, no longer available knives on Whatnot, you're probably going to be into a fight, because you're not the only one looking. Case in point, peanut butter and jellies from SMKW. If you're familiar with SMKW, then I know you're familiar with the peanut butter and jelly knives that they tend to do. That SMKW tends to do a lot of collaborations with manufacturers, especially their biggest ones tend to be the peanut butter jelly case knives, and to a similar extent, there's Sea Dragon case knives. Those are both SMKW exclusives. Now, I've gotten some of those from SMKW's website, but I've had to be like, I knew the date they were dropping. I knew the time they were going to go up for a sale. And then I was hammering the buy button as soon as that clock ticked, that they were on for sale. And I've been lucky. The Trappers will probably run like $80 or $90 for, your typical cost for a case knife. $80 or $90. Nothing terrible. That's how much a lot of case knives go for. But they sell out fast. Like on the website, I mean, they might have had like maybe 500 go in a matter of like a minute and a half, and then they are sold out. Okay. But SMKW will keep a few of them on hand, and they will take them to auction, and they will auction them off on the SMKW's show. But if you're lucky enough to snag one, like I've got a few peanut butter and jellies and a Sea Dragon that I'm really lucky. I feel like I was really lucky to pick up. But now I can't remember the actual cost. I'm just spitballing. I have a Sea Dragon and I have a peanut butter and jelly axe handle that I got from when they went on sale on SMKW's website. I paid maybe, I'm just going to say $100. Okay, I think in fact I paid less than that. But just to use that as an example, those sold out in less than 2 minutes. In fact, I think they sold out in less than a minute and a half on the website, which is why I feel like I'm really lucky. When I found out that when I heard that they held some auctions on Whatnot, I think the peanut butter and jelly end up like they sold a couple of peanut butter and jelly axe handles. I think they went for like between $300 and $400. So a knife that I was lucky enough to get for like actually roughly, I think it was like $90. People were snagging them on auction for like between $300 to $400. Same knife. So yeah, you're in for a fight. You're in for a fight. And the funny, okay, this is the part that I found was funny. Okay, because if I remember correctly, on SMKW's website, you can rate stuff. You can rate things. Give it 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever, and then you can leave comments, just like any other online website. People are so pissed off that, oh my god, I can't believe you're charging that. You charge like $300 for a peanut butter and jelly. I can't believe you charge that much for a peanut butter and jelly. And they were pissed off and all this other stuff. SMKW wasn't doing that. You want to know what they started the auction for? They started the auction for those knives at $1. So technically, according to the agreement with Whatnot, if they started an auction for a peanut butter jelly at $1, nobody else bid on it but one person, technically they could have walked away with that knife for a single buck, plus shipping and tax. Okay, which would probably be like $5. So SMKW wasn't being greedy. They weren't being greedy by any means. Really. Well, they probably knew it was going to shoot up. People were going to bid on it. But they started it at $1. The people on the auction with aforementioned FOMO got it that high. They're the ones that drove the price up. They wanted it that badly that it reached around $3. I can't remember the cost. I just remember it was stupid expensive. Yeah, the FOMOers were mad at their fellow FOMO. That's a mouthful. The FOMOers were mad at their fellow foam mowers. But no, they were blaming SMKW. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure SMKW knew that people were really going to want the knife. Okay. But it's still always a risk to start something at $1. Something could have glitched. Say something glitched, and for some odd reason, only one bid went through. Well, now they sold it for $1. You know what I mean? And it's really bad form. It's actually really, really bad form for a seller to renege on an auction. And I've seen some sellers. I've seen some. I've actually sold on Whatnot before. Just a couple shows. It's not a regular thing I do, but I have sold on Whatnot. But I've seen other sellers, and it's kind of funny to see some of these sellers. I've seen some sellers be like, they'll start it for $1. They'll start, okay, I'm just going to throw numbers again. Say it's a $100 knife. They started at $1, okay? And then it sells for $50. And then they get mad that they didn't get $100 for it. Then you shouldn't have started it at $1. If you're going to be upset at the price that you're going to sell it for, then don't start it at $1. Now, I know some sellers will joke. Like, for example, Going Gear. Going Gear will start at $1 and it'll be like a $200 knife, and say it reaches $175. And it'll be like, oh, I can't believe you guys are taking from me, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, no, he's joking. He likes to joke, and he won't renege on it. If you bought it at $175, he sends it off to you. He's not going to be a dick about it. But then there are some sellers that, obviously is like, whoa, that was a $200 knife that sold for $100. I'm not selling those again. At least not today. But they don't renege on it. You know what I mean? And they understand that they took the risk. They understand that they took the risk at selling it for, starting it really low. But I have seen some sellers like get seriously mad that it freaking went for a super low price. And I just think, like, don't get mad if it didn't go for what you wanted when you started at only $1 and you had only like 30 people in your show. A lot of times there are some sellers that won't do $1 and go sale, start things at $1 unless they have a minimum of like 50 to 100 people in their show, because they have a better chance of more people wanting, whatever they're bidding on. So I see a lot of that too. I see a lot of that, a lot of weird stuff going on. But overall, my experience with Whatnot has been pretty good. Like, I trust Chasing Blades. They have been really good to me. Appalachian Freeze Dried Knives has been really good. Bladestown Bards Company has been really good. SMKW has been really good. RL Simp is another one. RL Simp has been amazing. He's really good. He's another one that sells a lot of case knives, but RL Simp is able to get his hands on a lot of exclusives that some other people can't get. And he's actually even come out with his own exclusive. RL Simp actually worked with Case and came out with his own exclusive called a Caramel Apple Glow, which was really cool. I think I showed that on a previous live, because I was able to get my hands on one of those. RL Simp is really good. And then for modern knives, most of my dealings have been with Going Gear and Blade City. Not to say that there aren't any other good ones, but Blade City has been great. Going Gear has been amazingly great, and there's a couple others, but those tend to be the ones I do the most business with when it comes to those. With most of my business having been done with Chasing Blades, and then to a lesser extent RL Simp. Way back, eBay sellers would do that and can't. Yeah. And I've had that happen, not with the knife, but I've actually had that happen with something else. Because Whatnot, you've got people selling a lot of different stuff. Hell, you can get frozen seafood on Whatnot now. My girlfriend's bought like cookies and shit and snacks. But I remember I was getting something I was trying to get something myself that wasn't knife related. It was something else, and I think I managed to get it for like $20. But a lot of people were selling it they were getting like $50 for it. I managed to snag one for $20, and then they canceled the transaction. And the funny thing is, I saw them holding a show, and they were selling the same thing that I had originally purchased for like, I think they were starting at like $40. And obviously, I reported it. I think they got banned for a little bit or something like that, or whatever, because you can report it. Because, like I said, it's bad form for a seller to just cancel the transaction. And as a buyer, you do have to be careful, because as a buyer, you're also expected to hold up your part of the bargain. If you purchase something and like you swiped at $100 and you find out that you could have bought it somewhere else at $75, you can send a request to cancel, but then it's up to the seller. They can say, okay, we'll cancel it, or say, nope, you're stuck with it because you swiped on there. You should know what you're doing. That's why I say knowledge is really important. Know what you're bidding on and how much, that item normally costs. So, keeping that in mind, knowing what the costs are beforehand can be really important. They would say, I'm sorry, you had more. They would send you an email saying something crazy like you didn't think you were getting $100 knife for $25. Yeah, that's stupid. that could get a seller kind of in trouble. I don't know all the specifics on what happens, but it's possible they can, anything from losing certain statuses to even getting temporarily banned or permanently banned can happen to a seller if they get too many complaints with them canceling transactions and something. Sometimes the sellers, like the really good sellers, sometimes if they know they made a mistake, like they done fucked up, sometimes they'll ask the buyer, if you could help me out and cancel, that would be awesome. Maybe we can throw something to you. But if they don't, they're kind of stuck with having to send it to you. Sometimes they might ask a buyer to cancel if they could, or if they want to be a nice guy. But that doesn't happen very often. But I've seen it happen, but it doesn't happen very often. Again, most of the good sellers are aware that they're taking a risk when they're starting things really, really low. And they understand the risk, and sometimes it happens. I've actually seen knives that were pretty expensive go for a ridiculous price because they screwed up, and the buyer didn't want to cancel it. You can't really do much about it. They can send it off and then maybe ban the guy from more of their shows in the future, but. That looks kind of bad, but they could do that. Send the knife off and then keep them from seeing any of their future shows. But yeah, I've seen like somebody mistakenly start a like $150 knife and mistakenly started at like $1, and I think it went for like maybe $40, which is like ouch. But like I said, that's the risk they take. But as a buyer, and I seen things from both sides, since I did do some selling on whatnot, so I do have a little behind the curtains there on what goes on, and from the buyer's or from the seller's point of view. So there's a lot of things I can understand from that viewpoint, not just from the buyer's point of view. But that being said, I do see chances to get really good deals. At the very, you can get really good deals on stuff, not just knives. But be knowledgeable on what you're trying to get. In my case, I tend to, I try to be really careful, and in some cases, I don't mind paying a few dollars more. There were a couple times where, okay, I'm going to give Chasing Blades as an example. Now, normally I save a lot through Chasing Blades, but there was like a knife or two that were maybe a few dollars more than retail. I shouldn't say retail. There was a couple cases where I know I could have saved like $5 or $10 if I just got that knife from a retail online store. But I've done so much business with Chasing Blades, and I've saved so much on a lot of the knives that I buy through Chasing Blades that sometimes $5 isn't going to phase me. $10 is, I don't mind doing that every now and then because they've been amazing with how much I've actually saved overall compared to what I'd get it anywhere else. So paying $5 or $10 for one knife out of literally probably nearly 100 knives I've gotten from them, no big deal. I see it as kind of tipping them in a little way because they've been so nice to me. But on average, Chasing Blades saves me a bundle. It's very rare that something's even like at the same cost that I'd get at retail. Usually I'm saving more. More often I'm saving money. And same goes for like RL Simp. RL Simp tends to be pretty even unless you just happen to be lucky on an auction. RL Simp's prices tend to be pretty even with what you get online other places. The difference with RL Simp is, like I said before, a lot of times he can get his hands on stuff that is usually exclusive or harder to get, or you just don't see other sellers carrying when it comes to case. So if I'm looking for something a little bit more harder to get, like for example, I have a thing for Coralon case knives, and not too many people carry Coralon, but RL Simp tends to get a handle on quite a lot of Coralon. So if I'm feeling the itch to get something new, I'll check RL Simp. And price wise, I've probably paid for Coralon roughly the same if I were to buy it online. The difference is a lot of times online they're no longer available, but RL Simp will have it. Other thing that Chasing Blades does is a lot of times if something is no longer available, a lot of sellers will pump the price up for a knife that you can't find online anymore because it's no longer being made, just out of stock or whatever. A lot of sellers will jump the price up a little bit. Chasing Blades won't do that. The nice thing is they will sell it at the price that you normally could get it at if it was still available. They don't jump the price up ridiculously simply because it's no longer available, with the exception of maybe, and this is understandable, with the exception of maybe like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. I was going to say like antique knives or something like that. I'm thinking of a different word though. Like really, really old knives. With the exception of those, because rare collectibles are always going to be more expensive. So that should come to no surprise if it's like a rare collectible. Yeah, you're going to be paying a lot for anywhere you go, really, depending on what it is. But yeah, Chasing Blades won't raise the price on something simply because it's no longer available. Like they stopped selling it last week. They're not going to jump the price up another $25. Now, the only thing is Chasing Blades has a little, because they're not as big as some of the other sellers, so Chasing Blades they have a little harder time getting like exclusives and things like that. They normally don't get exclusive knives. Most of their case knives tend to be what's currently available. But you can get a really good price on those. So again, when it comes to whatnot, just be careful. Know what you're getting, know how much what you're getting normally is, and get it from a seller that you can trust. So if you ever have any questions on whatnot and who can you trust to purchase knives from, all I can say is I can tell you who I normally do business with, and they've been really good. And keep in mind, there's a lot of sellers out there, a lot of sellers. And while I've only really had one really bad, or no, maybe two bad issues with a couple sellers, just, obviously I don't deal with those guys anymore. But if you ever have a question, ask. And, I would say just to start off with, go check out the ones that I've mentioned. Chasing Blades, RL Simp, Appalachian Freeze Dried, Bardstown Blade Co. Bardstown Blade Co. I think tends to run about the same as retail. Same with RL Simp. And for modern stuff, and SMKW, forgot about them. Except SMKW, sometimes you can end up paying a little bit more just because of their audience. Not their fault, it's their audience. Like I said, they get thirsty. And then for modern stuff, I generally go with Blade City and Going Gear. Even though there's still a lot of other sellers that have done great by me. It's just those are the ones I do the most business with. So those are the sellers I would check out if you're just getting into Whatnot. I think I have a link down below for my Whatnot, and if you were to join through that link, I don't know if they're still doing it, but before you can get like a small amount of credit if you join through my link. And it's not anything super special. It's like anybody could get you a link to join Whatnot, and if you join through their link, you would get a small amount, and the person that you joined would get a small amount. I don't know if they're still doing that, but it might be worth a look for maybe a couple bucks if they're still doing it. I don't know. I just know I have my link up if you guys were looking to join Whatnot. So if you want to join and check out the link, it should be down there below. But yeah, I've gone to doing that versus like eBay. I'll still check out eBay once in a blue moon, but only for like the really rare stuff. Because the one thing about that eBay has over Whatnot is the ability to run very specific searches, where it's a little harder to do with Whatnot. A lot of times when it comes to Whatnot, it's just getting to know the sellers and knowing what they normally sell, and then asking them what they are capable of getting. And then at that point, it's a matter of asking if they have something in stock and that they can run it. And then it's, again, you're competing with anybody else that might be wanting the same thing. With eBay, you can run a search, and it's easier to find something through eBay search function compared to Whatnot. You're just then dealing with eBay and their slower auctions, unless you're gonna buy it now or something. And I've gotten a few things off eBay, not a whole lot, but a lot of like harder stuff to find. Like there were two knives that I was looking for. One was a zombie Nick that came in a canoe pattern that nobody could find, and I just happened to find some. I just lucked out. Somebody had a few of them new in box on eBay, so I lucked out with that. And then there was another one. It was a Russian or USSR squirrel knife, is what they call it. Like this really old antique of a knife, and I bought it because I was trying to collect anything really squirrel knife related, and it was hard to open. It was like bent and all this other stuff, but it was really cheap, and I was able to fix it up, and it was really, really cool because I was able to fix it up and stuff. I was really excited about that. That was another, like, the only other knife I've gotten on eBay. Amazon, I don't do a lot of purchasing on Amazon anymore, at least when it comes to knives, because there's a lot of counterfeit junk that's been floating around on Amazon, surprisingly. And there was one instance where, and I showed that on a video and even on a live, there was one instance I ordered a Civivi knife. And normally Civivi knives come in a little taco pouch. And inside the taco pouch, when I opened the box up, and this was from Amazon, when I opened the box up and opened the taco pouch, instead of a knife, it was a block of wood with two heavy bolts taped around it to give it some weight. So somebody, thankfully Amazon essentially reimbursed me. They sent me another knife and whatever. But my guess is somebody had gotten the knife, thrown in some junk, kept the knife, thrown in some junk, and resealed it to look like new, and then just sent it back to Amazon, is my guess. And because Amazon doesn't always check, they just check to see if it looks like it's been opened or whatever. And it didn't look like, in fact, they sealed it with like this professional like plastic sealer, whatever it was. And so it looked like it was unopened. And so what Amazon normally does is they'll just throw it back in stock. And I was just the unlucky guy that got it. But like I said, Amazon thankfully helped me out on that, because that was like a $60 knife. I don't know how it is for anybody else, but $60 for a knife, and then finding you got a block of wood with 2 bolts taped to it, that sucks. You like eBay because you're West Coast. You search late at night, like 12 midnight to 2 a.m. for buy it now. All for just listed stuff, as most USA is still asleep, especially the East Coast. Well, yeah, you can still get some good stuff on eBay. I just don't do nearly as much on eBay like I used to. But I do like the fact that when it comes to really hard stuff to find, they're easier to find things on if they have it. It's just an easier search to do. Where Whatnot is kind of like a fun, let's see what I can find. Let's see what they have on Whatnot today, and I'll sift through Whatnot and just window shop until something really interesting comes flying across my face. Also, a lot of places like I keep using Chasing Blades as an example. Chasing Blades will also, if they don't have something, they'll do their best to order it if you want to get it through them. So if you're having a hard time finding something or finding a particular thing, you can let Chasing Blades know what you're looking for, and if they can get a handle on it, they'll order it for you. And they do this neat little thing where if I like something, say for example, they have this really nice knife, okay, and it's like $100, okay, but I can't really get it today. I have to wait. I have to wait a few days for my paycheck. Okay, I can't get it today. I get it if I can, once my paycheck comes through, but there's no guarantee that it's still going to be around. One neat thing that Chasing Blades will sometimes do is I can tell them to hide it. And then they'll hide it and hold it for me until like say Friday. And then once Friday comes around, I'll ask them, hey, can I grab whatever's been in my hidey? And they'll be like, all right. And then they'll set it up as a package deal so nobody knows what I'm getting. And then I can bid on this mysterious package, which is a knife that which they've been holding for me, and I can get it then. So that's one cool thing that they'll do for me. They've done for others, not just me. They'll if you want something really bad, but it's just a few days and then you get paid, you can't get it today, but you would get it once the paycheck comes. They'll hide it for you if you ask nicely, and they'll keep it nice and secure, so that way you have a chance to get it once payday rolls around. So pretty cool. But like I said, if they don't have something and they can order, they work with a bunch of companies. It's just most of what they sell tends to be case, but they have like, they carry Buck knives. I've seen them carry Best Tech. I've seen them carry Kershaw. Sometimes they'll get in like Soligen eye brand knives. I got a really beautiful Soligen eye brand from them. Queen Cutlery USA. They even have a collaboration that they had with Texan Knives, where they made their own gator jig knives and with Damascus steel, which look absolutely amazing. And they have those, and a lot of times, sometimes they'll get a few others like Mercury. Mercury Knives is another. sometimes Rough Riders, but they don't have as many Rough Riders. But a lot of case knives. So if you're into traditional knives, slip joints, and things like that, they're a great one to check. And I prefer the. I know SMKW probably has a much bigger inventory, but I prefer them over SMKW because, like I said, SMKW shows tend to have some really thirsty people in them. A lot of times I'll see a knife on SMKW and I'll be like, I could have just bought that from the website for like $10 less. But, like you said, FOMO be FOMO-ing. And for some people it's just fun. For some people it's I don't know. It's like that whole. It's not necessarily gambling, but in a way, for some people, it's kind of like a game for them, I guess. I know some people like to flaunt it. Hey, I'll pay $300 for that knife because I've got the money. Any single ladies out there? You know what I mean? I think probably not all the time, but I'm pretty sure that happens sometimes. Somebody just flaunting their paycheck or whatever. I go there because I'm cheap as fuck. I go there because I'm cheap as hell. I'm trying to save some money. But yeah, that's how I get a lot of my stuff. Is a lot of my cases come from Chasing Blades or RL Simp. A lot of modern knives from Going Here, Blade City. I still get stuff online. Like this one, like I said, was from Monthly Knife Club. I like them because it's just fun to get a random knife out of the blue every month, and a lot of times it's something that I might not have known or seen before. Like I think I've seen these SRMs before, but I don't know. I just keep getting distracted by other shinies, I guess. So having one come in from Monthly Knife Club was kind of a pleasant surprise, and it's a steel that I don't. This is the first time I've gotten something in 140 CR. So kind of neat, and it looks really cool. So kind of glad I got that. And then Knife Center a lot of times for stuff that I'll get. I go to Knife Center when I'm looking for a set deal. A lot of times you get a lot of sales on Knife Center, and then you got points and stuff like that. And but usually I go to Knife Center and SMKW, especially when I find out that something's dropping. Like, oh my god, if I find out that something's dropping, like a peanut butter and jelly that I really want, or a Sea Dragon that I really want, if I can find out the date and time, oh, I'm watching SMKW like a hawk. Like I said, I got really lucky. I mean, those things, those axe handles, the peanut butter jelly and the Sea Dragon, those things sold out in like less than a minute and a half in the peanut butter jelly's case. So the fact I was able to grab one of those and not pay like $300 for it at an auction, I'm ecstatic. A guy local who buys stuff just so others can't. Cool guy, but FOMO to the max. Oh god, you always joke with him that it's the pesticides. It could be. I try not to get hooked into that. I know I can, which is the horrible part. But I try not to get hooked in that. And the way I do that is if I see something really cool, again, knowledge is a big thing. If I see something really cool, like, oh my god, I slow down and go, wait, where else can I get that and how much does it normally run? So then I try to make it a habit that if it's something I've never seen before but looks really cool and the want starts to grow, I immediately start checking websites. And I immediately start checking other places. So that way I'm not caught up in the FOMO. I'm not like throwing a lot more at something that I could have gotten for like half the cost if I had just bought it from a website that I'm familiar with. If you want to know what websites I go to that I trust, I can tell you. But that, slowing down and doing that research on the spot kind of helps slap me back into reality and keeps me from making mistakes. Like I'll check Knife Center. I'll check Knife Center, SMKW. I'll check Deadwood Knives, which has they're great. They have a good selection of case knives as well and others, and White Horse Customs. White Horse Custom Knives. Mainly because I've done a decent amount of business, not a ton. I've done most of my business with Knife Center and SMKW, and I would say an okay amount with Deadwood and Wild Horse Customs for harder to find case knives. So those are the four I really do a lot more with when it comes to online retail stores. I've seen a lot of stuff on, like, Blade City has their own online retail store, but I think I get better deals when I hit their auctions. Same with Going Gear. I think I get better deals when I go through auctions, even though Going Gear has their own website as well. So that's why I use Whatnot anyway. Again, I don't get paid for Whatnot or anything like that. They're not sponsored by anybody. I just happen to deal a lot more with them. And then I got my girlfriend into it, and then she's bought like tons of candy and shit. But actually, the one thing she got into really bad, like for a short while anyway, thankfully only for a short while, were these little guys. Where is it? They're sitting on a dresser and probably need to be dusted off a little bit. She got into it because of these little guys. The Labubu monsters. And the funny thing is, she wasn't even really into the Labubu monsters themselves. She cracked up because she found out she can, like, people make clothing for them, and she could dress these little guys up. So she got into that for a little while. We got a bunch of Labubu sitting here, and then thankfully that died out quickly once she was satisfied with being able to dress a few of those up. And then now her big thing is like buying like candies and snacks through Whatnot, because you can get some crazy deals on giant boxes of candy apparently. And they have giveaways. A lot of places will have giveaways now and then and stuff like that. So I've actually won a few knives in giveaways that some of the sellers hold. They don't, not all of them hold giveaways. Like one of the, Labubus are popular over there at Swap Meets. Tons of fakes. You got to be careful on Whatnot too. So there were a lot of fakes that were floated around on Whatnot. So there you got to be careful on who you're dealing with there. There's a lot of people that like knowingly sell fakes too, but they actually even advertise like, "Hey, I'm selling fakes. I'm selling counterfeits." Which is generally not a good idea because usually you get booted for something like that. What was I going to say? I kind of went all over the place. Oh yeah, some sellers also hold giveaways. I've actually won quite a few things on giveaways. Chasing Blades doesn't hold a giveaway too often, but that's how they keep their costs down. Is they don't really do giveaways, and because when you do a giveaway on there, like if I did a giveaway, I essentially pay for shipping. So everything that somebody wins on a giveaway would cost me money. Like say I held a giveaway for a knife, say the knife costs $5 to ship. If I did a giveaway and somebody won, that's $5. That cost me $5. And if say I held like 10 giveaways and they all cost $5 to ship, doing all 10 giveaways would cost me $50. And if I'm not selling anything, if I don't sell anything and all I did was giveaways, then yeah, that just cost me $50 with no profit. So, most collectible stuff, new in boxes, fake. Oh, I see. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that stuff float around. But if you're lucky, like Blade City can holds a lot of really nice giveaways. I've gotten some good stuff from Blade City. And some knives here and there from other sellers. Sometimes they're really good stuff. Sometimes they're inexpensive stuff. No big deal. Free is free if you don't really care about it. But I've had some really nice knives as a giveaway, and then I had some really inexpensive stuff for just weird junk like I've got some inexpensive Olight flashlights. They're usually run like 10 to $12. I've gotten like a pen that normally runs around $12 from Olight. The funny thing is, this was a freebie. This was a giveaway that I won from. I believe this was from RL Simp, which is, I think these are made by Frost Cutlery, if I remember correctly. And cheap giveaway. But the funny thing is, this thing's sharp as hell. I use this for a lot of stuff. It's actually really well made for a knife that probably costs him like $5 to $10 at most, and sharp as all get out. It's just a little tiny, simple folder, but stuff like that. And then some of them will hold really big giveaways. A lot of times somebody will sponsor like an expensive giveaway. I've seen knives that would run anywhere from like $100 to, I've seen even like I think it was like a $500 knife go out on a giveaway. Somebody sponsored a massive giveaway, and somebody was really lucky to get a really expensive. I think the most expensive one I saw, what was that called? I can't remember the name of the knife, but they ran close to like, I can't remember, it was $600 to $1,000. $600 to $1,000. I can't remember the cost. I just know it was insanely expensive. And it was part of a buyer's giveaway. So if you bought something, you were able to enter yourself into the giveaway. And somebody walked away with a really expensive pocket knife. So that's another thing that Whatnot does, that if if you're lucky, get in some giveaways, you might be able to win something pretty cool. Anything from stickers to an actual knife or whatever you happen to be shopping for, depending on what show you get into. My girlfriend actually won so much candy, I was actually giving it away to friends at one point. And she even got banned because she won so many giveaways within a day. She won like a bunch of giveaways that Whatnot actually banned her for like a week. She was so upset. She was so pissed off because their algorithm thinks that she, I guess the algorithm thought she might be botting or something like that, where she just spent the entire day on Whatnot trying to win giveaways, and she just happened to win so many. And I had seriously, a quarter of our living room was covered in boxes full of candy that she's won, which is crazy. And I ended up giving it. We still have boxes by the door that if I ever get delivery, I'll hey, have some candy and hand away some candy as part of the tip. Yeah, they probably thought she was a bot. Actually, she was banned twice, which was funny. That was the first. She was banned once and then banned again because somebody kept entering her into a giveaway. Okay. She was looking at this show. Somebody was selling, I think she bought a few shirts. Okay. And he wasn't a big seller. He wasn't huge, and there weren't many people in the show. But what he was doing was, if you bought something, he would immediately run a giveaway for whoever bought something. And it was her and maybe one other person that was buying stuff. So she'd buy something, the other person would buy, and the other person would have bought something, and then he would run a giveaway for essentially two people, my girlfriend and this other person. And my girlfriend, and I don't know how many giveaways he ran. He ran maybe 5 or 6 of them or something like that. And she won more than half of them in one show. And then she was immediately pegged as possibly being a bot, and then she was banned for another week. And it wasn't even her fault. This guy kept running giveaways where she had literally a 50-50 chance of winning. So it really wasn't even her fault. I mean, he was machine gunning giveaways to an audience of 2. So, and that was pretty funny. And the funny thing is, if you try to talk to Whatnot about it, it's we can't do anything about it. So she was banned again for another week. So now she just doesn't she still enters giveaways like crazy, but she just doesn't do it as much. I will say the biggest giveaway that she's ever, the biggest giveaway I think I ever won I'm trying to remember. I know I got a decent knife that I think that normally ran for like $150. I can't remember which one it was. I'll have to look at my spreadsheet, but it would be like a large dig. I think I won like a $150 knife or $200 knife, something like that. Maybe a couple of them. The biggest thing my girlfriend won, she won an actual Amazon gift card for $500, and it was legit. So she got a $500 gift card, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, there's you can get some good deals. You got a chance at winning some stuff. I'm trying to remember who she got the gift card from. I think it was from Cool Kicks, who is probably one of the biggest sellers on Whatnot if you really like shoes. Actually, they're selling a lot of random stuff now, but I think they made their name selling shoes. And sometimes they'll have like thousands of people in their show, in their auction. And a lot of times they'll run anything from like $100 gift cards to, I've seen them give away like I think the highest I saw was like a $5,000 or $10,000 gift card. Now, granted, you're in a show with like 8,000 people in it, so, good luck. But somebody won it. So that was a thing. So yeah, there's that. I've met a lot of fun people. I've met a lot of great people through Whatnot. Like Mike and Gary, they're the two brothers that sell on Chasing Blades. Are all simp, like I said, and other buyers that just, we just chatted up because there's chat in there. You can talk to other people and you meet some really cool people on there. So that's another thing. Pretty fun. And I don't know if there's, and I know I've heard there's other auction apps like that. And I think eBay was trying to start, if they haven't already started their own live auction. Similar to Whatnot, but I haven't been on any of those. Whatnot's the only one that I've tried. As far as I know, I could be wrong. As far as I know, Whatnot's the biggest live auction app, I think. I'm not sure. I think they're the biggest online live auction app. I could be wrong. So that's the reason why those are the reasons I use Whatnot. eBay is like the biggest online auction, but I'm talking about like live auctions, like actual shows and bidding live. I believe Whatnot's still the biggest. I don't know if I thought eBay started their own, but I don't know where they are on that. Honestly, to be quite honest, I haven't looked. I've been on Whatnot, so I've stuck with Whatnot. I already have enough trouble with FOMO and curtailing my buying habits on Whatnot as it is. Just be aware that you might end up buying a lot. So like I said, information is your friend. Buying from trusted people. And if you're not sure who to trust, feel free and ask around, ask me, and maybe I can point you in the right direction, or at least help you find something. But yeah, be knowledgeable. Know how much stuff is going to be, how much stuff is that you're looking at, and then hopefully you won't be taken. But anyway, looking at the time, we are getting close to 6:00. So I think this will probably be a good place to end it for today. I really appreciate the chat. Thank you guys for coming in. Again, I'm glad you're here doing the customization. While I was doing the customization, I think that came out extraordinarily well. Oh my God. Did I have something oily on my hand? I think it came out really well. I'm excited with how that came out. I kind of want to do another one. Now it's just a matter of which one I'm going to do. I think I saw, I wonder if they have a Barlow in this. I'm not the biggest Barlow collector, but they do really look kind of cool when you toast them. I might have to look, but I think it did a great job with emulating Case's Case's Blueberry Cobbler. I'm going to call mine the Muffin, but that came out really, really cool. Really happy with that one. And those new knives I got to share with you guys. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to end it for tonight. So thanks again for joining me. Hope you guys had fun watching. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, and that way you'll be notified as soon as I drop a new video. I know I worked on a video for the Jack Wolf knives. I just have to do some editing, and then I'm going to throw those out sometime this week. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Now, I always try to see if there's somebody in the knife realm that I can raid, but usually I don't see too many people running a knife show live. I'm going to take a look again. Just for shites and giggles, I need to find more live knife people. That's not just like a buying show. I know. Oh, you know what? Ron Crow. Do I have Ron Crow? Does he? Sometimes they don't always have a. Yeah. I'm going to see if he's rateable. So sometimes they're not rateable. I thought we've rated Ron Crow before, though. So let me check real quick. So if you guys could stick around, let me see here, because I know I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to Ron Crow. Yes, let's go ahead and raid Ron Crow. And yeah, I think Loot 10 Tex, I believe I wasn't able to raid him. Let's hit Ron Crow. It looks like he might be doing giveaway too. So thank you guys again so much for joining me. Hope you guys had fun. I'll be back on this channel on Saturday, or next Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time if you're into video gaming. I run a video game channel called Duranu's Game Cave. Link is in the description below, I hope. And yeah, let's just jump over there. So thanks again, guys. You guys in chat, you guys lurking about awesome as always. Hope to see you guys again in the next video. Bye. I never have an ending ready for this. I just end up closing this thing. So bye, guys. Stick around for the raid.